Hello everyone.
Welcome to the U Sports community.
A community striving to enhance youth sports.
I'm Taylor Medic.
I'm Sean Connaughton.
And I'm Matt Maw.
Thank you for joining us today. The U Sports community is proudly presented by Nuance Hockey and Maw Golf.
Nuance Hockey provides detail-driven on- and off-ice development in the Edmonton area. For more information, please visit our website at nuance.hockey and follow us on social media.
Maw Golf provides lead coaching for golfers of all skill levels at the Millwoods Golf Club in Edmonton. Our apparel is provided by Bird & Barley. Prairie-inspired, golf-focused. To receive 15% off your next order, please visit birdandbarley.com and use our promo code YSC15.
This episode is produced by Nick Hussey of Hussey Multimedia, and hydration is provided by Earthwater. We are very excited to have Kurtis Mucha joining the community for today's podcast episode.
Kurtis is from Sherwood Park, Alberta, and he grew up playing for the Kings Athletic Club. Kurtis then moved on to play for the Portland Winterhawks and Kamloops Blazers of the WHL. Kurtis's playing career finished with the University of Alberta Golden Bears, winning 2 national championships.
A valued member of AAD since 2015, Kurtis heads the goalie department on both the junior high and high school portions of Vimy Hockey. Through weekly sessions with goalies, Kurtis strives to improve each athlete that he steps on the ice with.
Outside of AAD, Kurtis is the goalie coach for the Edmonton Oil Kings of the WHL, among many other associations and teams in the province.
Over the last several years, I've had the privilege of running numerous on-ice sessions with Kurtis, and it's been awesome to work with him even more this year at Vimy Hockey. Mooks, we really appreciate you taking the time to be here, and welcome to the U Sports community. How you doing today?
Yeah, doing good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome.
Well, we got Sean outnumbered here, 3 goalies today against a defenseman. It's going to be a lot of fun, but let's go back to what are some of your earliest memories as a youth participating in sports?
Yeah, thinking way back, I think 2 kind of come to mind for me. My grandpa was a Zamboni driver at
Nice.
It's called SOC Arena at Strathcona Olympic Center out in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked for Strathcona County for a long time, and just remember going to the rink as a young kid and getting on the Zamboni and helping out a little bit. And then when I was old enough to play there, my grandpa was the Zamboni guy, right?
Nice.
So it was kind of cool. And then on the flip side, my dad, he played in his men's league, beer league team. They're called the Sherwood Park Sharks, and they had like the old school the Sharks logo jersey set up, and being a young kid, we always thought Sharks were cool, right, and whatnot. So those are kind of 2 that stick out for me, just being at the rink a lot and kind of before I even started playing a little bit.
That's super cool. And do you remember like being on the Zamboni before you were in skating? Like, was that kind of something that happened even prior to actually playing the game?
Yeah, pretty close around the same time. I was probably doing a bit of both at the same time, but it was. I just remember it was such a cool thing that your grandpa was the guy that was in charge of all that, and
For sure.
and get a little behind the scenes tours in the rinks and whatnot at that age was pretty cool, and be able to bring my buddies and friends out too and all that, right? So.
Absolutely. And so how about the interest in being a goaltender? Was that starting to come on board like pretty early on, or did that take a few years for you to develop?
Yeah, definitely took a few years. I was a pretty good player. Like I'd score a bunch of goals my first few years. I think it was like Tom Thumb or novice minor or something like that. They've since changed it obviously, but I remember like one year I had a bunch of goals, and then the next year I think when you took the step up with the older kids, I literally scored like 1 goal, and I just got shuffled back to D because I was no good anymore. I don't know. I don't even know what happened. Literally not sure what happened, and then I just kept good, and I tried goalie, and I was pretty good at it, and kind of ran with it and stuck with it, and that was I think it was like probably around 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So a little later start than some goalies. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I think I was fairly athletic, which helped me transition, and I was able to have success early on and play on the coveted brick team back in the day with the 99s, right? Yeah. So, or in 1999, sorry. So yeah, it was. I had a lot of success early in the position, which I think helped me kind of stay with it too.
And do you have the size when you were 9, or did you hit a growth spurt after?
Yeah, I was pretty big growing up for my age, I think, which being a goalie at that age definitely helped a little bit too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was my dad's a big guy too, so I was able to get some of that size earlier than later.
Was there a favorite goalie you had kind of growing up that you kind of looked to and that kind of helped you or inspired you, I guess, too?
Yeah, Patty Waugh was my guy. Yeah, I was. It was like those are the Brodeur Waugh days. You pick one kind of. So I was big Habs fan because of him. And then I remember when he got traded or whatever, that whole situation went down. I think I would have been like 5 or 6, maybe 7, and I was crying and all this stuff because I wanted to move, and ended up winning a cup in Colorado, so it worked out.
I think he did have like the best style back in the day, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Potvin maybe, yeah.
It's always the equipment that seems to be what draws someone to the net. Was that maybe a factor, or is it, like you said, you just kind of got shuffled down the deck a bit?
Yeah, outside of being worse every year at hockey, I think the gear was kind of cool. The masks, I think you get to see the custom stuff and all that was pretty cool, and the fact you get to pick it and you're a little bit more unique than the player. But yeah, I think that definitely played into it for sure.
Do you remember the early years when, I think it was kind of like you said, Tom Thumb, when you're playing just for your community league, where I remember the expectation was each player would rotate in for goal. Were you one of the guys that was like, okay, well, if this guy doesn't want to do it, I'll take his shift kind of thing? Because I remember for me personally, when it was my turn, I was like, no way, I don't want to do it. And someone else had to step up and kind of go twice. It just wasn't something that appealed to me. But do you remember having that rotation that ever exist in your early years? Yeah,
we did the same. I think when it was my turn, I would do it. I don't think I loved it early on.
Right.
I just liked scoring goals and skating fast out there.
Yeah.
And then, again, when I got the shuffling started to happen, I was probably the guy that did the double rotation when somebody didn't want to, right? So I kind of started filling in, and then just kind of took off with it really, and committed myself to it. And I think honestly, to keep playing at the higher levels and the higher tiers with my buddies, the only way I could do it was to be a goalie.
Right.
So I just kind of committed to that, and I enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, still working it, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that having a few extra years of being a player helped round out your goaltending abilities, like your ability to skate and handle the puck? And you see some goalies now that get into it really, really early, which, I mean, arguably can be beneficial because you're having more reps in that position. But do you find that it maybe sort of helped with your confidence with being able to skate even in goalie skates and handle the puck?
Yeah, I think it did. I think being an athlete and being able to move your body,
right.
and I was a pretty good skater as a player, so I think I think that helped translate. So I wasn't just one dimensional,
right?
I see it all the time. Goalies start at 6 or 7, and I do think it's a little extreme. Like and I work with kids like that, and I encourage them at least to play other sports, or at least don't just be, a goalie and that's it, right? So I think for me it definitely helped just being an athlete and even on the competitive side too, and all that stuff. You want to try and round out your game as much as you can, for sure.
I think you might understand the game a little better too, and just understand what's going on.
Yeah, see it from a different lens. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's really important as you get into the older years too, is as a goalie being able to flip it around and see what the player's going to look at you, right, or what they're thinking or what they're seeing.
Yeah.
What do you think kind of that sweet spot is for a young goalie who, maybe starts a little bit earlier? Is it recommending to them like, hey, try to get to the outdoor rink in your player skates and still get some reps? Because, obviously how difficult it is for them to do that in a structured environment, to all of a sudden just tell their coach, hey, I want to be a player today. That usually doesn't work too well, right? We need you in net. But like where do you kind of recommend, like you said, multiple sports, obviously that's super helpful, but specifically with hockey, like, is there anywhere you'd recommend that they kind of get those reps of still being a player?
Yeah, for sure. Outdoor rink, even just street hockey, ball hockey. I think ball hockey's become really, really, I think it's getting bigger. My son growing up, he's going to turn 7, so he's kind of right in the heart of youth sports now himself. And he's asked all the time, do you want to join ball hockey and all this? And we put him in baseball just to switch it up a little bit and get him running. But I think outdoor rinks, especially in our country, we're very fortunate to have, there's just rinks everywhere.
For sure.
Right? Just a little bit dependent on the weather and how cold you're willing to go out there in it. But I think it's a great spot to. It's a less pressure environment too. It's just you and your dad, or you and your friends, or whatever that might be, and just enjoy it and work at it and have some fun doing it. Not a structured session where you are only looking to improve. You kind of check out and just kind of work hard, have fun.
Right.
How about for you? Other sports growing up, I guess in the off season, did you play anything else? What'd you get up to?
Yeah, we did baseball. I think a couple summers of baseball, and then golf from a fairly young age, as much as we could at Broadmoor and Sherwood Park,
Nice.
not far from my house. So we did that, and And then when I was, again, fortunate enough to make the team brick, that kind of spurred a lot of the spring hockey. And so we ended up doing that for a good chunk of those years, which was really good. Like, built lifelong friends. I still see some of those guys, today and work with them now, or we cross paths. So it was, the spring hockey did take up a lot of the time. Like, I almost had to pick at that point which one you want to go to. But like, there's guys on that team that I played with that are, in the National League still, and or the guys we played against that had an amazing career. So it was definitely a good experience to do that too.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're the first Brick alumni that we've had on, and maybe just talk a little bit about that tournament. I obviously played in it. My brother did as well, and it was just a super cool experience. But what do you kind of remember specifically from that week in was it in July in your years?
It was August for us.
Yeah.
It was they've kind of moved it up a month now. It was amazing. Yeah, it was so cool, and like Jared Spurgeon, Tyler Ennis, a couple local boys still playing, or I guess Tyler's not, I don't think anymore, but it was amazing. It was cool to bring everybody together, and the tournament was wild, like teams from all over North America. I remember Minnesota was really good. PK Subban was in the tournament. Like there's some there always is big profile players, right?
Sure.
But it just opened up your eyes to the sport and how many good players are actually out there. You're kind of sheltered in your own little region, and then you open it up to a couple countries, and it's amazing how talented those kids are at that age. But it was awesome. The water park, the party they do, and all that stuff for the 10-year-olds just running around. So it was pretty cool. And playing at that rink was fun. It was really cool.
Any adjustments that you had to make as a goalie? Like, were you doing the eye black to try to keep the glare out of your eyes or anything like that?
I don't think I did that. I have to go back and see if my mom's got any pictures.
Yeah.
But we had a pretty good team there. I think we went 3-2. Missed. There's like a 3-way tie, and it came down to differentials and whatnot. So we never advanced, but it was pretty cool. It was a really good experience for sure.
Do you remember who the coaches were? I'm just curious if we had the same.
Yeah, I had Dave Breakwall, Dan Ockenberg, Julian Ferrante.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah.
And that might have been it.
Now, did you guys have a goalie coach?
Yeah.
At that point?
Mo.
Okay, gotcha.
Mo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just go with that.
It's Mo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mo, the goalie coach.
Yeah, I forget the last name there.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, that could be a topic we can get into now, is just how that has obviously evolved over the years where, I mean, I remember growing up and, we'd have John Stevenson, I think was his name, kind of come in maybe once a month kind of thing. But that was very new, and a lot of teams weren't doing that at all. And I started as a defenseman, was always really close and appreciated my goalies, and it started to kind of dawn on me like, man, like we're getting a lot of specific instructions, but the goalies are kind of just out there to figure it out on their own. It's like get in there, look big. You got a few dads who, fortunately we had some dads that knew the player side quite well, but they weren't goalies. They didn't know how to help them. And it was like, look big, like just
don't go down.
Yeah, don't like just very generic coaching. When was your first sort of exposure to like specific? I mean, obviously you mentioned Mo with the brick, but other than that, was there any specific goaltending coaching that started to happen in your early years?
Yeah, John was my guy too.
Yeah, okay.
So that would have been probably just a little bit after that, a couple years later than the brick team. So probably in that 12-year-old range.
Yeah.
And there was nothing like weekly stuff, like wouldn't come to team practices, and that's what I do every single week now as a coach. I'm at team practices, right? So it has come a long way. But yeah, John, it was like a week-long summer camp in July or August, and that was the extent of it. It was I was appreciative of it, and he got goalies from 10 to junior,
right,
and got us mixed up, and it was a cool mentorship too. Yeah. Very old school if I look back at it now a little bit, the type of stuff we'd be doing, but at the time it was what you did, right? So John was kind of my main guy, and as I got older, got just introduced to other coaches along the way, and that paved for just different styles of coaching as the position evolved, I guess.
For sure. And how about your parents? Like you mentioned that your grandfather and your dad were had a hockey connection. Were they goalies previously at all?
No. I think my grandpa's a D-man. My dad was a forward. Yeah. So they. I'm not sure if my dad really wanted me to be a goalie, but it, like I said, just happened, And he coached me growing up. He was always head coach for our group of 89s in Sherwood Park and stuff. So he did that up until that bound AAA, and then it was kind of non-parent coaches, right? So yeah, they're always involved though, and both grandpas were. One was more verbal at the game than the other.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was a good family support for sure.
Do you think that was kind of a little bit of a motivating factor? Like, I know the dynamic with, children and parents is obviously very unique to the family, but do you think maybe a little part of you was kind of like, well, I've already got a lot of, defensemen and forwards in the family, and made kind of the goaltending position stand out a little bit more?
Yeah, it could have, and even extended to my friends. Like I was kind of in a weird way fortunate in Sherwood Park. I didn't really have a lot of competition for goalies.
Yeah,
there wasn't, just in that birth year. There wasn't very many in Sherwood Park. So it was with our friend group. I was the goalie.
Yeah,
it was just that was my job, and we had our D-man and our forwards, and everybody did their thing. But I was just kind of gravitated to that position a little bit. And I guess it sounds weird to say, but I wasn't. There was an opportunity there, and I mean that as I got older into my bantam years. No, I wasn't saying that when I'm 9 years old. There's an opportunity, because who knows where hockey will take you at that age, right? But as you get older, you can kind of see where it was going in your area, and obviously back then you just stuck to your association. There was no other options, right?
Right. Well, even that's interesting, because I think a lot of young players aren't necessarily looking at it in the sense of like, where are the odds the best for me to succeed, right? Which obviously is something that becomes really important, whether it's what type of role you're going to be, not necessarily switching positions, but, am I going to be the fourth line checker, or am I going to be the power play guy? And, being able to understand where you have the best chance to actually, fit in and move up the ladder. So developing that awareness, pretty early is interesting. And now knowing you as an entrepreneur, and like you're a guy that sees opportunities. So it's just kind of interesting to see how that sort of started at an early age, and you started developing that lens of seeing those potential options, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's fun to kind of look back at your younger years, no matter what you do, whether you're involved in hockey or golf or any sport really, and just see, there's probably lessons along the way that you learned or you were learning, and they're paying off now. But back then, I was just a kid growing up, right? Yeah. So it is kind of cool to look back and kind of reflect on that, those early days for sure.
Yeah. And how about in school? Any school sports that you did? Like you mentioned baseball. Baseball typically was probably outside of the school, but any sports within the school, like basketball?
Yeah, I did 1 year basketball. Yeah. Because I was tall.
Yeah.
No good. But
again, seeing the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody else saw that opportunity, not me. That was in grade 8. Then they're like, I was okay. It wasn't horrible, but I don't think I was very good. And they tried to get me to come back the next year, and that was the WHL draft year. So I just wanted to back then. I'm like, I don't want to deal. I just want to focus on hockey.
Right.
You must have been good enough they asked you to come back.
Yeah, I guess. Or tall enough. I don't know.
We need some size.
Badminton. I love badminton. I did that 7, 8, 9. I don't think I did it. Well, in high school, part of that was spent in Portland. So no school sports there. But yeah, in Culver Bar Junior High, I did badminton for 3 years. Yeah.
Nice. Big for your footwork there.
Yeah, I loved it. As a goalie, I think it definitely helped me. But we had a good group of our friends that kind of all did it and played doubles and all that, singles and all that fun. It was good stuff.
Yeah, hand-eye coordination. I mean, you're moving, you're getting good cardio there.
Mm-hmm.
Agility, like you were saying, Matt.
Yeah,
those racket sports.
Yeah.
That's fun too.
Yeah, no, I loved it. It was good, really good.
You're seeing a lot more guys, I think, play racket sports as a means of staying active and getting that movement in. I remember seeing like Devin Dubnyk at Kinsman playing badminton. So it's a good way to keep the footwork and all those things
100%.
going.
Yeah, like I know, well, just strictly speaking to some of the players we've had in the Oil Kings the last couple of years. Our one European player is he was like the national team for tennis.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like very good. He's 6'5", like a monster. Oof. So he had to kind of pick like hockey, and he's drafted to the NHL, so he's a good player.
Right.
And then there's a few other, just as like a, they might weightlift 4 days a week, and that fifth day is something else. And a lot of guys are starting to do some tennis and stuff. Yeah. So I would agree with you. You're starting to see a bit more of it.
Yeah, that's cool. So I mean, would racket sports kind of be at the top of your list if an athlete was coming to you and you were recommending, like you said, make sure you're still developing being an athlete? versus, like obviously football. There's overlap with any sport, but
Yeah.
would you kind of put the racket sports maybe at the top of that list?
I think so, yeah. I mean, baseball's awesome, but there's also a lot of standing around. Right.
Yeah.
It's nothing against baseball. It's just it's not as active of a sport, right?
Right.
As some of the like badminton and tennis and all those other ones, you're gonna be leaking after
Right.
an hour, right? So
Yeah.
it's a good cardio. It's good hand-eye, really good footwork.
You don't need a lot of people to do it.
No, literally.
Theoretically, you
two
can
people.
do some practice on your own too.
Yeah.
Well, badminton maybe not, but like squash, you can for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you only need like 2 people.
Yeah, for
Whereas
sure.
Baseball, you really need
Yeah.
at least 7 or 8 to
Yeah,
make
a
something
bunch.
happen.
Yeah. Well, I think too with just getting your body in tune with like reading angles and bounces and all that stuff. Like part of that's hand eye, but just reading plays or reading the balls and how they're gonna kind of bounce off brackets or deception. Like there's a bunch of different unique skills you can learn and work through, right?
Totally. Yeah.
How about for you when you were, you mentioned like we used to go to the hockey camp for 1 week in the summer. That might be the only kind of on ice stuff you're getting. When did you kind of incorporate off-season training into your repertoire, even if it was just going to the gym a couple times a week?
Yeah, I think it was like into that probably for like going into U18 or midget AAA, like they go that summer going into that. It was like weightlifting and whatnot. There was a kind of a group of us Sherwood Park kids that went. Actually, Paul Rye out of Vimy Ridge in the gym there way back in the day that would just kind of leave school and go there right after and then head home. So I think for me, I was probably in that 14, 15 for strength training and stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it was just being kind of active and
Yeah.
and the goalie camps on occasion, right?
Because it seems kids are doing that even younger now. They're hitting
Yeah.
the weights at
Yeah.
10 years old.
Yeah, it is. I think the whole sport needs to be careful in a lot of things, and a lot of it is great, but I just think moderation really, and just be smart about it.
It's tough though because you always feel like you might get left behind, and we talked about this a little bit while ago about like the nuance of hockey with the you're on ice, you're not on your feet. It is different, so it is a tough balance. Like, do you have any thoughts on like when does it get a little more serious, I guess, where you're training on the off season a lot?
Yeah, no, I think the old FOMO was big with parents. I think it's more of the parents than the kids, honestly. Like the parents are the ones generally making the decisions or signing the kids up for the camps and whatnot, right? So yeah, like for the approach I take with my kid, because I'm going through it now, is put a hockey stick in his hand when he was born, and he loves the sport, so I maybe guided him into it, but the rest is him, and I'm just letting him kind of push that part of it. So, and I'll encourage him and all fun, and he's pretty good. I mean, he's turning 7, so he's young. he's young, but I'll when I'm on the ice, we'll have some fun. I'll push him, I'll challenge him, I'll try and make him better, just like my dad did.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, like probably in that 9, 10, 11 range, you're going to see if you have have an opportunity to maybe pursue potentially junior hockey, and at that point, maybe you do a little extra here and there, right? So, but I think if it's too much, I don't think that's going to go well for a lot of reasons. I think there's relationships that could be tarnished too along the way if you're just driving your kid into the ground a little bit, right? So I think you got to be careful, and for sure burnout. You do too much, then you're not going to perform when you need to. I don't want to see any kid, hate the sport at any age because they did too much of it, right? So,
Yeah.
it was a balance.
Did you find the balance with your dad was pretty good? Like in terms of he was same sort of thing. He was pushing you, but at the same time letting you dictate, how much.
Yeah, I think so. It was a good balance for me. When I was out there, it was push hard, work hard, have fun, but there's time for rest. There's time for we're not going to go on the ice at all for a month of July or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Take some time off. Yeah,
For sure.
Do you think that FOMO, you mentioned the FOMO, do you think that's almost heightened for parents of a goaltender because there's only so many positions, obviously on the team, compared to like a defenseman or forward and that sort of thing, just because based on, I guess, the amount of goaltenders on a team, that FOMO might be heightened?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think, and I think it's interesting. Like, at the younger ages, there's no goalies, so there's so much opportunity, and as you get higher levels, there's so many good goalies, and there's so few spots for them to make. So I feel like, that FOMO or that anxiety from some of these parents will increase as you get older, right? And the unicorns and the studs will get past that, and then there's a big group of goalies that are all good, and you're looking for opportunity or a chance or somebody to pick you in, right? So I do think I think it's interesting for goalies specifically, because like I said, there's nobody really knows who's going to be the goalies, and then there's a good bunch that start training, and then there's a bunch of good ones, and there's only 2 per team, right? So limited teams, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic. It's just like you said, it's just the sheer number of spots available. When it's only 2 spots, it's significantly less, right? So yeah, that's interesting. How about the Oilers growing up? You mentioned Patrick Waugh, but any Oiler goaltenders that kind of you latched onto?
Yeah, Cujo, Curtis Joseph was kind of like those Dallas years, playing them. I feel like it was every year, them or Colorado.
Totally,
right? So those were fun. He was so competitive and so good back in the day. It's fun to watch. I was still always an Oiler fan too. So when it was Colorado and Oilers, it was Colorado. I had to go with Patty Waugh. Yeah. But still, other than that, I was an Oiler fan. And then obviously, the run that Roley went on, I was a little older. I think I was almost 17, 18. But that was obviously fun to watch for the whole city, really.
Yeah, we were all kind of right in the sweet spot.
We just turned 18.
Great timing.
Enjoy 06 playoff run.
Yeah, that was good.
That was pretty epic for sure. It's too bad that they didn't get it done, but what a run that was.
Of course, they lose to a Sherwood Park goalie too.
Right?
It's crazy.
That's how ironic.
Crazy, yeah.
That's right. How old? It was Ward, right?
Yeah, Cam Ward.
How old is he?
Back then,
rookie year, wasn't it?
Yeah, like he was in the AHL that year, and then came up probably due to injury, and then he would have been like 21, 22.
Okay, yeah. Was he a guy that you knew about growing up?
Yeah. Like for good reason. I think he was Red Deer Rebels, and then in the Carolina system. So yeah, he was a big name for goalies in Sherwood Park. Really good, obviously really good goalie, and just hear all the stories about the Bound draft for him and NHL draft. And I remember watching him play midget AAA at the time, and it was very, very really cool to kind of watch such a good goalie and good person. When I was young.
Did you find that having a guy from where you grew up being able to be that successful, did you find that motivating, being like, hey, if he can do it, like other guys can do it from here too?
Yeah, I think seeing his success kind of showed me what I could have if I was able to replicate that or come close to it, right? So obviously he was very good and talented, and but yeah, it was fun to watch him, and then even when I was playing in junior, watching his pro career and seeing how that all played out, right? So it was nice to have a guy local, from your hometown, of Sherwood Park there.
Yeah, kind of just pushing everybody,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for you growing up, were you out at the ODR much?
Yeah, we had a pretty big backyard in Glen Allen.
Okay, nice.
So my dad was able to build a pretty good. So we had like a basketball court kind of, not like one with painted lines and nothing like
big
that.
pad
Just
kinda.
just like a asphalt
big area.
Yeah. So he put a hockey rink on that in the wintertime, and I would as much as like parents would let me get out there, right? So it was fun. Yeah, just working. I don't honestly remember it as like doing goalie stuff. I remember it in my younger years as playing as a
just
player.
getting out there.
Yeah. So I don't really remember anything as a goalie. And maybe at that time we might have we did move in 2000, I think. So I was about 10, 11. So I think I do remember as a player using it a lot though.
Right. Well, it's maybe a question for all three of you goalies, because I remember, back on the ODRs, kids, we'd always kind of beg our goalie buddies to come out, because you always want a goalie. It's more fun when you have a tendy out there. But, more often than not, probably like 95% of the time you're shooting off posts. There isn't a goalie, or the goalie wants to go out as a player. So I'm just curious, obviously we talked about how you're looking for those opportunities to still be a player. So that's part of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But is it also just like sort of the hassle of bringing all your gear out there? Like what is sort of the reason why you don't see a ton of goalies at the ODR?
Who wants to go first?
Yeah,
I never thought about. Like, I never wanted to. Well, one, you got to bring all your gear.
Yeah.
Two,
And
it's your
they're-
only time you can skate and
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
mess around.
Right.
Like the only time.
Right.
Yeah, that was for me too. It was
Yeah.
like, this isn't a team event or
Yeah.
practice. I'm like, I want to go out there and rip clappers with somebody else. I don't want to get those shots. So you're getting minus 30 here.
Well, and there might have never been like the shack may have never been open.
Sure.
And you got to gear down, gear up. I always thought too, because there was no face-off circles, no lines. Like you had no awareness of where you were in your net, no pipes. But in hindsight, I think it probably, we mentioned unstructured play for players.
Right.
It could be very beneficial.
It actually
yeah.
probably would have
Yeah.
been beneficial to
Yeah.
go out a little more often. And I think the one time we did, I remember one time it was a team practice. The people started ripping pucks, and then I think made a couple saves that the pucks go out. It was at Otwell. Pucks go out of the playing surface, and someone had their windshield taken out. So we're like, "Okay, no more slap shots." Like, well, I
Yeah.
wanted to take rips today, but
That's funny.
Yeah, you get all geared up. You want the full experience.
yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting dynamic for sure. Yeah, it's something I just kind of never thought about until now. But we always would beg, like we'd want
Yeah.
the goalies to come out. But like you said, even the nets are usually not regulation. You probably don't have pegs. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that are very different.
Street hockey, I didn't mind playing goal because that's when you can kind of have fun and mess around and have that
different,
unstructured play. But
Right.
outdoor, hated it.
How about for you, Curtis? Like, did you do ball hockey or street hockey as a goalie?
Yeah, street hockey. I think I have a bit of both. The same thing. Like I would probably I would still want to be a player.
Yeah.
In street hockey.
Yeah.
But I would, when the big final game is
Yeah.
going on in the community, you go in net to win, maybe.
Right.
I think
So-
every goalie kind of wants to play out a little bit,
Yeah.
like just to have the little bit of time, because you don't move around very, like you're stuck in your own end the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. The only time you cross the red line is if there's a penalty in the second period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the other thing that we've heard a lot about the ODR was the exposure to ages beyond you within your team. So, as a player, you could go out there, you could be 14, all of a sudden all the midget AAA boys show up and you're having to ramp up your play to be able to keep up with the older guys that you normally would not see during your structured practices or certainly your games, right? So like on the goaltending side, like we talked about Cam Ward, you did some of those camps. Were there ever opportunities for you to participate with players older and kind of raise your level a little bit?
Yeah, John Stevenson did that a little
Yeah.
bit for sure. It was, I remember being the ice with some of the older goalies and definitely being probably shouldn't have been there just based on age.
Right.
But it was a cool opportunity though, and to get pushed and challenged. I think as any aspiring and motivated athlete, it helped me for sure. And then throughout the Kings Club, getting called up
Sure.
to practice it on occasion, and I think I played like a midget AA game when I was in Bantam a couple of times. So just older guys and stuff, and generally knew everybody in Sherwood Park because we all stayed. Obviously, we didn't know other options back then, so still knew everybody, but it was a good experience. It was nice to get that before you jump into the Western League when
Right.
you're 16, you get 20-year-olds
Sure.
out there, right? So it was
Totally.
nice to get a little bit of that taste. Yeah.
What was your Bantam AAA? Years, like you played 2 years Bantam AAA. Take us through going in after Pee Wee, and then ultimately getting to the draft, and playing Alberta Cup.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember, I only had 1 year of Pee Wee. Remember they did the age change.
Yeah.
So I only had 1 year of Pee Wee. I don't even know if I played Pee Wee AA. I think I did, but I'm not sure. It's not on.
They don't go
Hockey
that far
DB
back.
doesn't go back far enough. So we don't know. But and I just came into that Pound AAA first year, and there was a really good group of 88s in Sherwood Park. Scott Goodmanson was my partner on the team, and there's Ty Shakowski, there's a Santos in there. There's four good 88s, and it was a long shot to make the team, and I wasn't expecting to, and I just kept playing good in the exhibition season, and just kind of really earned my way onto that team, and had a pretty good year as a first year, I would say. And then we had an amazing team my second year. It was funny. We had like guys like Zach Daly was in Leduc, and Greg Holmberg was in Strathcona, and they're like, they want to come to Sherwood Park because I was there. We had a couple other good players.
Yeah.
And I was telling my dad this. He's like, "Oh, these guys are gonna move here, and we're gonna make a super team." And he's like, "Oh, I'll believe it when I see it." But sure enough, they did. They just rented or what? I don't know what happened.
Found a way. PO box.
Yeah. So we had a really good team. We went to the finals and lost to Red Deer, who had literally like I think there's 4 NHL players now on that team. So like. And I don't know if anybody on our team went to the NHL, but it was a good. They were a better team for sure. It was close. I think we pushed them to 4 games and a best of 5, but had an awesome experience. Probably one of my most fun, enjoyable years of hockey was that year. And then Alberta Cup, we did win that. We had a good zone, like our Sherwood Park team, and then we got the Fort Mac kids and Lloyd kids and stuff. So it was good. It was fun to. We didn't win the league, so it was kind of a little bit of a. Nice consolation to go win Alberta Cup, and that set me up for a good draft in the second round by Portland. So it was awesome year of hockey. Really enjoyed it. I think that's kind of what I think propelled me into having an opportunity to play in the Western League too.
Nice. And how did kind of that recruitment process go? Like when did you kind of first start talking to Portland? Were you talking to some other teams? I know that's something that we definitely want to share with our listeners, because for a lot of people that's something they've never gone through before, and they have a lot of questions about how that process works.
Yeah, it was a lot different back then than now. Like it was, the scouts would call up your phone that's connected to the wall,
the landline.
The landline, sorry, that one. So that's how that would go, and you'd talk to this old guy for a while, and they'd ask you questions. So I remember talking to Portland. I talked to a bunch of teams. I don't know all of them, but it was, they just kind of try and gather information, and that's kind of, and I'm on the other side of it now with my job with Oil Kings.
Right.
So like it's a lot different now. Like we're doing Zoom interviews with the goalies, a select few goalies, and we send out it's like a questionnaire that they record themselves taking the answers, so we get to watch them talk, and it's a lot different now, as a lot of things are with the world and in sports, right? But back then it was a lot more of a simplistic approach, and it was good to go through. It was good to talk to adults. It's a skill to do that, I think, and some some kids are better at it than others, but it's good to go through that and learn how to do it.
For sure. And other than the phone calls, did you ever get to a point with any of them where they're saying, hey, like we want to take you out for lunch, or talking to you after games? Like was there some in-person contact as well?
A little bit after games. No lunches. No dinner, no steak dinners. For the Bantam draft, that'd be a little extreme, but cool. They did that. But I remember talking to some after, like at Alberta Cup and stuff. You'd see some scouts, and some of the scouts, they watch you so much, so you get to know them a little bit, and they talk to parents too and whatnot, and try and get info from different angles. So we talk to some in person, and like I said, that's just a skill to learn how to talk to adults as a 13, 14-year-old.
Now, for you, was there ever a thought of the NCAA route instead of the WHL? Obviously, as of now, that question is kind of out for people to worry about. But, back in our day, that was something you seriously had to consider, and you had to be careful that you didn't, play one game and burn yourself if you did want to go the NCAA route. So were you, kind of set on the WHL the whole way, or did you consider both options for a period of time?
I was pretty much set on it, but it was still, we had a discussion. It wasn't just, only going Western League, but the teams need to know too. Like I was picked in the second round, so it's tough for those teams to pick a player high and then have them go the other way. It really hurts them. I remember Johnny Tays did that. I think he was second overall to Tri-Cities and never reported, right? So, and maybe he's so good that they had to just take a calculated risk, and that's fine. But it's we kind of committed before the draft that we were going to do that route, and the league has the scholarship package,
right?
Which I wasn't sure if I'd use at the time, but it was a good fallback backup plan, which I did end up using and helped me a lot in life. So I was pretty set on the Western League though.
Right. Now, when you say we, are you referring to you and your parents? Because now, obviously, we have all these advisors and all this extra stuff going on.
Yeah.
Just curious who you're referring to when you say we.
Yeah, mainly my mom and my dad and myself.
Yeah.
I think I got an agent after the draft. The local guys, Jerry Johansson and TSC and stuff. So, but that wasn't before the draft. So any kind of decisions we made were just the family. But Jerry and his team helped us in the years after. Quite a bit. So it was mainly family at that point.
Was Grandpa getting in on the discussions too?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He'd just sticking with the bony.
Nice.
I guess for a young kid, like, when is the time? Like, obviously, you'd have to be well sought after to even seek an agent or an advisor. I guess when, should they seek one before the draft or something? Like, how would you help someone find one, stuff like that?
Yeah, now it's a lot different. Like, kids are getting them young, like 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like it's become a business now more than ever, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I remember TSC, which is a huge agency now. I remember talking to Jerry Johansson. He took me for steak dinner.
Yeah, there you go. Finally got your steak.
It was in Sherwood Park. I think it's not there anymore. It was a nice spot on the corner. Anyways, he said that they only targeted 4 1989 players in Alberta, and they got others in other provinces, but there's only 4. And they're a smaller agency, and then they got some really good players over the years and grew quite a bit to what they are now. But yeah, it's a lot different now. I do think if you're good enough, it'll come to you. I don't think you need to hunt, that stuff until your later years. And if you're looking to get on a junior A team, by your time you're 16, 17, I think that could be more valuable.
Yeah. Well, and you're typically, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like a lot of these advisors, like you said, it's a business. You're having to pay them. And obviously, if they can start advising you when you're 12, there's more years that they're getting paid for that consultation. Where, again, like you said, if you really need one, they're going to be there anyways. Yeah. And it's just, again, trying to, weigh whether if it's worth the investment or is it better to spend that on your development or whatever it is, another camp or, better equipment. Like, there's all these different expenses. Is it really high enough of a priority to be doing at that age, right?
Yeah, and I'll be careful when I say this. Like, I want to say the good agencies, because that's that could be taken the wrong way. But like the TSCs of the world, the Octagon, the ones that have legitimate NHL players, like, you don't pay them. Right. They're like, I didn't pay TSC.
Right. They're investing in you.
Yeah. So, and that's, and I talked to those guys. Like, I'm like, geez, like Scott Bonner's one of the guys there. I really like Scott, and he's like, I just joke with him like, oh, were you getting the 9-year-olds yet? And they're just joking. Right. And he's like, well, but he's like, I don't want to go talk to their 12, 13-year-old, but the next company is. Right. So I'm being forced to. So that's why, they are being kind of sought after at such young age. Yeah. But yeah, there is a monetized version too, where you do pay for the service annually. Yeah. And those are the ones I like. No 12-year-old needs to be doing that. Like, that's like 16, 17. You're a little bit of a late bloomer and you're trying to get into, junior A. Yeah. And that they can help open up some doors that way.
For sure. Yeah. It's a bit of a sidebar, but I thought I remember hearing some stories from even like more sought after guys where the agents are coming in. They're not giving you a bill up front. They're really trying to obviously build the relationship and help you out. But all of a sudden, whatever it is, 3 to 5 years down the road, you sign your first pro contract, and now, you have your percentage, obviously, but then there's a list of expenses that are also being retroactively compensated for. So that steak dinner all of a sudden comes back 5 years later. They've been running the tab. Yeah. Now they're taking a risk because there's obviously, I don't know what percentage it would be, but a number of those players that don't end up signing a pro contract, then that investment is just,
or a big one.
And or you get a big
20
one,
grand,
right?
And it's not going to pay for that steak dinner.
But I guess that's maybe something that's just unique to each agency, how they want to handle that kind of stuff and whether they want to do it or not, right? But,
I think it is unique to each one. Yeah. I don't even know how that works for each one's, but I've heard that too, where they'll get you stuff and it's expected you kind of get it back after at some point, or maybe that agreement would change and they'd let it go or whatever, right? That's probably just each agency. Yeah. but I do know that they like I've had experience with Sebastian Cossa and TSC, and they they've at a younger age, at 16, 17, like they were investing in his development, and mom and dad wouldn't have to pay for it. I would invoice the agency, and they took care of him, and that I know that's not going to go back on Sebastian. That's going to be covered. So it's I think there's some really good people in that industry. That yes, there's big money involved, but they're doing it for some good reasons too.
For sure.
Is that kind of the benchmark if a family is trying to, they're getting calls from all sorts of agencies, and it's basically narrowing it down to who's going to invest in our child, and then whether you pay it back down the road or you don't. Is that kind of the main driving factor if someone's doesn't know the process and they're seeing that, well, this company wants to invoice me and this company doesn't.
Yeah, I think it comes into fact, as a factor for sure. I mean, the world's not cheap, so if you can save some money as a family, I think that could weigh into it for sure. Yeah.
So after you get drafted, how do things go then? Like, are you probably feeling pretty good? I mean, like you said, it's a big moment. Are you leaning a little harder into your off ice training at that point, and starting to think a little bit longer term with hockey after that draft? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, that kind of kickstarts, like, hockey's really serious now. Like, you got drafted, you're 1 year of U8, you're midget AAA back then, maybe 2, and then hopefully you're playing in front of thousands of people 70, 80 times a year, right? And then it's like the goalposts continue to move. It's like the NHL is the next phase. So I would say my training off ice got a lot more serious, and then just trying to find ice times with older players more often to get those shots and see those situations, right? So it definitely it was a kind of like up until then was awesome, and it was still serious the whole time. But it was a different animal, and I was a couple of my other buddies got picked too, so we kind of grouped and band together and kind of trained and all had the same goal of playing in the Western League. So worked together.
And just drilling into that a bit, obviously the training has evolved so much over the years, and you mentioned you were doing some of the off ice training at Vimy. What did a typical kind of off season look like for you during that period of time?
Yeah, I think we were doing like in the gym like 4 days a week. Yeah, it wasn't like a five or more. Yeah, and then the goalie camps are still going on with John, and there was slowly as I was getting older and hockey was changing, there's more opportunities were coming up. But I remember for the longest time, like once I was in junior, I would Sherwood Park had a good men's league, beer league, or like but it was like good, like there was like Johnny Boychuk was in it, like there was like some really good players in those leagues, and that was like it was just games, no drill, just games, and there was like maybe twice a week, so we did that for July. I remember doing that July and August every year for a long time, and just got on a team, and that was, I mean, they were seeing really good shots back then, right? So that was just trying to find more opportunities to do so. And as I got into junior, I was exposed to different goalie coaches, and more opportunities opened up, not just in my little circle what I grew up with. So it was nice to get other stuff. I remember I was going down to California for a goalie guy for a long time too. Oh, cool. So it was it was just kind of using your kind of networks and connections to come up with a plan that'll help you out.
And so the goalie camp was usually in August, and prior to that, it was mainly, you're doing your workouts, you're playing those shinny games with high-end players, but you're not really getting into the structured on-ice training until come August, probably. Right?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. Like, I remember, like, May, June, July, there wasn't a whole lot going on until, like, that men's league, and then you're super rusty as a goalie. You're like Johnny Boychuk zipping them, and they didn't see that. So it was, and now it's way different, as we all know. Yeah. But back then it was probably a good thing, just take a break. Yeah. Let your body rest, let your body grow. Yeah. Make sure you're physically in a good spot, and then hit the ice. It's almost like what some of the NHL guys do, like the veterans do now. Yes. Like they're those older guys aren't they're on the ice
Yeah.
until probably August.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit July.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, they really kind of look forward to that break. Like, they'll still maybe do some shinny once or twice a week, like you said, just to not let the rust compile.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of interest in doing drills for a period of time, right? It's like, just, stay on your skates. You want to be fresh, but take a mental break from the structured environment, and then get back into it in August for sure. But during those kind of 3 months, like you said, May, June, July, it's more, don't let, yourself maybe not skate for too long, because that used to be normal, right? Like, just hang the skates up. And my brother was saying, even in Phoenix, there was an older Swedish defenseman, I won't name his name, but he went back to Sweden and literally left his gear in the dressing room for the whole summer.
Really?
Didn't want to touch it until he came back for training camp. Now, he was an older, different generation where that was still kind of normal.
I think he played a lot of games in the NHL too.
Yeah,
That's who I'm thinking of.
Totally. But, you have a different mentality of like, okay, well, what do you need to maintain? Where do you need to grow? And just that recipe is a little different for each person, but also each generation.
Yeah, I had played with a player on the Golden Bears who played in Tri-Cities as well in the Western League, and he's from like a small town, Sask. And like he'd go home and wouldn't touch the ice till training camp, because he'd be farming with mom and dad and helping out on the literally on the farm, doing grain and cattle and all that, and like that kept him in good shape. But he literally would go 4 months or more without there's no ice in where he was in the summertime. So it's like he'd literally have to use training camp to get up and run it. And he was a good player, and I'm sure it was tough. It probably took him a little bit, but he would literally go months with nothing, and then just right into Western Hockey League.
Farm boy.
But I guess some guys can do that though, right? Like it's almost what they feel comfortable with in if they want to be on the ice 5 times a week during the summer, like you said, just guys just want to get away from the game. They find it's their best recipe.
Well, probably speaks to his natural ability too, and just his skill set that he did have to cold turkey off and cold turkey on. Right. So, but yeah, everybody is different. When I started playing more into junior and whatnot, like I'd never liked, you get a day off, it's great. 2 days off and then going back was tough as a goalie for me. Like I didn't like to go too much time off. Christmas breaks were horrible in junior. You get like 7 days off, and then you got to jump back one practice in a game. It was hard.
Yeah, you kind of get out of your rhythm, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have the draft. You're ramping up the hockey training a little bit. It sounds like baseball has come and gone already. You mentioned golf. We obviously have some avid golfers around the table. So, were you able to kind of keep golf going in the off season? Was it something that you could still even use as a hobby to just give you a little break from all that increasing hockey focus?
Yeah, that's definitely stayed. Golf never really went away. I wouldn't do it a ton, but I don't know, try and get out 10, 12, 15 maybe rounds a year, and that'd be with my family and friends, and then my hockey buddies too. So I definitely have good memories of playing golf, and I still play it, so it's never gone. I've even through kids and what, try and get out a few times, right? But golf was just a good, even for mentally, just check out and go do something physical. It's not just hockey, because your whole life is hockey at certain parts, right?
I think that's just so important, is keeping, as the priorities shift and what's on your plate evolves, still trying to keep some sort of hobby, something to do that's just not going to be another hockey activity. There's going to be more hockey, but still trying to have a hobby or another sport that you can at least have as a break.
Yeah, right? And if you're a good hockey player, hockey's going to come to you. There's always opportunities, especially as goalies. You guys talked about begging goalies to come. Goalies get asked all the time to go to skates, so it's all. There's no shortage of hockey, but I do think it's really important to. You don't want to be one-dimensional in anything you do, in my opinion. Whether coach or player, athlete, mom, whatever you are, it's nice to round out different skill sets. So, I liked golf. It was good. You step up and hit a little ball as hard as you can. And try and have some touch and finesse too.
Totally.
But I enjoyed the sport. Yeah.
When you were younger, did you ever compete in golf? Did you ever play in any tournaments, or was it always more of a casual thing for you?
I did one little tournament. I really remember my mom dropped my sister and I off at Rundle, the par 3 course, and it's it's
probably the old Edmonton Journal drive.
I think it was that actually. And
Drive
it's
chip
like,
putt.
It wasn't called that, but I can't. It was
Yeah, it was like a little mini tournament.
Massive though.
Yeah,
Like, I think
was it
all
big?
day.
Yeah, yeah. It was like yeah, and I was the only one I did. I don't even know what I scored or whatever, but my sister was like my caddy. She's 3 years younger, so she was walking with me down the holes, and it was like, I remember we're like, oh, that guy's cheating. Like, he's not, like, that's what he got. We're all mad. I'm like, we're just playing honestly. I got a double here, take a double. But it was pretty funny.
So after that, were you kind of like, I don't really see myself playing more tournaments? Like, it didn't really hit home for you?
I think it was honestly like my mom and dad both work full time, so it's like, here's a 1 day daycare. Yeah. Here you go.
Right.
Pick you up at 4 kind of thing. So.
For sure. Well, that's kind of
the golf course was my daycare growing up.
Yeah.
It's like you get dropped off, or actually our bike.
Yeah.
And then you just where you hang out.
Yeah.
It's the only kind of sport you can kind of do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of cool though, because having that relationship with golf and being able to kind of keep it the same throughout the years, it's probably just easy to kind of keep going back to it in the same capacity and not feel like you have to sort of rewire it. Like for me, I played a lot of tournaments as a junior, and then when it started to shift to being more of just a casual thing, that was definitely a struggle for me to just reduce my expectations, realize I was playing a fraction of what I was before. And I was expecting to still perform the way that I did when I was playing 200 rounds a year. Yeah. And it's like, man, I gotta change my relationship with the game and just enjoy being out here, the social component, like you said. I mean, just being outside. I mean, hockey, you're inside so much. Just being outside is pleasant, right? For sure. But yeah, having been competing earlier, that definitely was a bit of a clunky transition for me. But
yeah, I think for me, for golf, it was. I think I do a pretty good job even to this day of like not getting too frustrated if I don't play well because of, like you said. But I think where my frustration or my competitiveness would come in would be to my buddy, and I wouldn't really be playing my score as much as I don't want to lose to him. Sure. Yeah. And he might be better than me, but I still don't want to. Sure. I get mad over that than if I shank my ball. Totally. So that's. I mean, there's still a competitiveness that'll come out in most athletes, but for me, it was just a little bit directed differently.
Well, that's a good thing to talk about. That competitiveness is often a common denominator for a lot of elite athletes. When did you first kind of feel that starting to come out in you? Was it in hockey specifically, or was it more general? Just even if you're playing, you mentioned your sister. Even if you're doing a game or something with your sister, when did that start to kind of rise to the surface for you?
Yeah, I think it was like some of those early ages, just competitiveness in anything, whether it be like soccer in the backyard or tic-tac-toe, or like whatever, totally. Right? Like just always wanting to win and probably being a little pouty when I didn't back then. But I think like for hockey and stuff, I think it was like that, I don't know, that bound AAA year sticks out for me. Because I only had, like I said, the 1 year of Pee Wee. Right. So that Bantam AAA second year was like, I just remember that like we were in high profile games in big tournaments and then the playoffs in Alberta Cup. And like I think that was where my kind of main competitiveness for hockey came out. But I think I always had it in me as a younger kid too.
Were your parents pretty competitive?
I think my dad was, and he played a little bit of junior A on hockey too, so that probably came from him. And then he'd head coach, and
for sure
he was very serious in his approach and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of where I got it. Yeah, my mom not as much, I don't think, but she is supportive and did the mom role.
Totally.
Right, so
how did you find that? Because I had the same with my dad coaching me a lot of years in minor hockey. How did you find that relationship with dad being your coach throughout a lot of those years?
Yeah, it was good. It was I liked it. My friend, he was a scary guy. Yeah, as a head coach. And he'd bark. And not just at me, like everybody, like my best friend, he'd bark at, you know, if he's not playing well or whatever, right? Yeah. So he was loud, organized, and took it seriously, and it seemed normal. It was all the right. It wasn't getting kicked out every game or nothing over the top, right? But
he took it serious.
Yeah, I took it serious. I liked it. It was good. He went on to coach Team Brick with Dan and those guys and Dave after I played and stuff. So. It was good. It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was nice to have him around.
Now, did you have him every year? Because I know for me, like it was kind of it was John Levitt actually, who was in our system, and it would rotate. Whoever was the vet or the second year would usually have. So Andrew, his son, was a year older. So those years that Andrew was the the returner.
Yeah.
It would be John. And then my year, it would be my dad. So we kind of had
Yeah.
a year on, a year off
Yeah.
in a lot of cases. Was your dad able to go with you kind of the whole time, or were there some years where...
Yeah, I think I remember in Adam, I didn't make double A as a first year.
Okay.
So I think if I would have made double A, my uncle, because I had a cousin that 1 year older, he was head coaching. So my dad maybe would have assistant coached.
Gotcha.
But I didn't make it, so then he took the head coach, and then the next year I made double A, so he head coached, and then into Pee Wee. I can't remember what if I played double A or not.
Yeah.
If I did, he wouldn't have head coached. I honestly, memory is drawn a blank on that one.
Yeah.
Have to go look up old hockey cards or something.
Yeah, exactly.
See what I made. I'll let you know.
Team
Just
pictures.
circle back with
Photos
you.
out.
And then after that, I'm into bantam. Obviously not. But yeah, growing up, like would I think have been novice and Tom Thumb. He was always the guy running stuff. So
For sure.
for the most part, up until parent coaches weren't involved, he was around. Yeah.
How did the messaging either change, or did it stay the same from the time that he was the head coach of the team and just your dad and you being the goalie, being right on the same team? Was the demeanor and message the same from him when you got into those Bantam AAA and on to midget and junior?
Yeah, it changed. I would say quite a bit, just because I mean he wasn't a goalie guy. He learned the position through me, really. So I just remember like bantam and even into my Portland years, he'd call after game or whatever. He just asked, like, we'd just go through the goals, like what could you have done on all of them, right? You know, and some of there's no chance, but what could you have done to come up with an unbelievable save, right? So he just asked, like, go through the goals, and it was never like, oh, you got to save that one. Right. I was fairly kind of when I knew when I let in a bad one, so it was good and healthy dialogue, but it was different than the earlier years. He was probably a bit more just team focused and didn't want to overdo with me, and just like I said, I was fortunate to have success early, and we had good teams. I wasn't getting throttled all the time, right? But it was more so just kind of walk through goal by goal and what I thought, and then maybe he'd throw in what he thought, and it was fairly well communicated.
That's great. So let's maybe go to your first. So I'm just looking here, 2004, 2005. You've got a couple games with Fort McMurray Oil Barons, and then a couple games with Portland. Who'd you play with first, and kind of how did you start taking those initial steps into junior?
So I played 2 games in Portland as a 15-year-old. They had goalie injuries. Okay. So I just got drafted the previous spring. Yeah. And I remember I got called up twice with Portland. So the first one, when I signed, I flew to Vancouver with my mom, and then she drove over the border to Everett, and we played Everett and Seattle. And I just was on the bench just as a backup. Yeah. It was wild, crazy league. It was crazy. It was like we played Everett. We had this guy named Shane Halifax who was just a beast. Go look up his hockey fights. These guys were scary. Yeah. Back in the day. And
you're only 15.
I was 15 and just signed like an hour before the game. Wow. And there's it's like a kook out there. Yeah. And I remember we went to, I don't even know if we won or lost the game, so I'm not even sure, but we go to Everett and Seattle are close, right? So we go the next day to play Seattle, and Portland versus Seattle rivalry was unbelievable. Yeah. And I didn't know what going into it, but it's any questionable hit, and next thing you know, there's 10 guys fighting. It's like 5. It's like it's level, and they all go in the box. They come out, nobody's kicked out, and it's it happened every game we played them. And I remember there's this one fan right next to the bench, and again, I'm 15. My mom's 3 rows behind the bench. She's got random tickets from the team, and there's this little crack in the glass, and one of our D-men, he's actually an NHL pick, good player. He squirted water all over this fan. This big old fan just barking the whole game, and then this fan throws his beer onto the bench all over me, soaked in beer. It was I'm this is what I signed up for. Was that your first drink? I signed up for, yeah.
Welcome to the league.
Yeah, literally. So that was early in the year, and then I did play a couple games. They got injury troubles. They were on their swing out east, so I ended up flying into Regina, played Moose Jaw. 4-4 tie back in the day when there's ties were allowed, so no shootouts.
And you were playing that game?
I played that game, yeah. So
and 10-minute overtimes, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it was longer. Yeah. So ended in a tie, and then had to bus it from Moose Jaw to Kootenay, so Cranbrook over and play the next night.
Wow.
And then like that was like Nigel Dawes, and there's some really good players in that Kootenay team. And I think it was like a 4-2 or 5-2 loss or something like that. But it was at the end of their trip, and the boys were tired and banged up, and kind of went in there and ate some pucks. And actually funny, my sister was in a tournament in Cranbrook.
Oh wow.
So I think I flew to Regina on my own, and then but my dad and sister, he coached my sister's team, were in Cranbrook, just like stroke a lock, so like they got to watch the second game.
That's perfect.
Which was kind of cool. And then just to follow up, the 4 MAC games were at the end of my midget AAA year.
Okay.
Gordy Thibodeau, famous AJHL coach. He actually coached our spring teams growing up after the brick team.
Oh wow.
Because of the cars, the Daniel car,
Okay. Cars,
Dave.
Yeah.
I think it was Dave. The car situation there so yeah, he coached our spring team. So I got to know Gordy over the years, and so I remember Robbie Nolan was the goalie. He was like setting records in the Fort Mac, like AJHL goalie records. Probably still has them to this day, and they ended up getting in a couple games there. So Gordy just kind of helped out with some experience there too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you meant was your sister a pretty high level hockey player?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, she played U of L
right
for CIS at the time. Yeah, down in
Nice.
Lethbridge for I think 5 years. Yep,
Nice.
This is a D man there. So
Cool.
she did that and got some scholarship money and all that, and now she's nursing. So
Awesome. And so growing up, did you guys ever have any like competitive hockey games? Like, I mean, there was an age gap there, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But were you guys out on the outdoor rink at all together and kind of just able to compete a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Just like most siblings would do,
Yeah,
right? So
for sure.
I was the goalie, so I think generally I'd be in there and try not to let her score on me, right?
For sure.
I think I remember going out to some of her practices too.
Nice.
Obviously, I was a little older, but just kind of help out and
Sure.
help out the girls. And she played boys until I believe like U15, like PBAA. She was still playing
Nice.
boys with. There's some good like Gallagher was on the other.
Right.
Like Ian was always the other coach.
Yeah.
So there's some. It's a good little system. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, there's been some really good players that have come out of Sherwood Park for sure, especially in the last little while. So, okay, so you get those couple games with Fort McMurray, and is that at the beginning of the year then, or was
That was
that
the end of year. That
the
was
end
like
of the
right
year.
before their playoffs. They were just like
Gotcha.
Robbie was chasing these records, so
Yeah.
it was like I remember Gordy's like, as soon as Robbie gets to like 9 saves on 10 shots, you're going in.
Right.
For the rest of the game, I don't care what the score is at. You're going in just to get the record, and he can't let a goal within 20 minutes or something. It was like all this
They're
stuff.
just shutting him down.
Yeah,
at that
literally.
point.
So
Okay.
I think I went in for like, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes that game, and then I played a full game the next night, I think it was.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was at the end of the season, right after my midget season, right before their playoffs.
Now, at that point, getting exposed to the AJHL, was there any thought at that point? Well, I guess you've already played the games with Portland at that time, so you're still thinking at this point, WHL's the goal.
Yeah, and
Right.
what Gordy was doing was like, if you don't make Portland at 16, come play for
Sure,
me.
sure.
So he kind of wanted me to show the team and and kind of how they operated. So
Right.
and that was fine. Like I was open to that.
Yeah.
I already signed in Portland, but if I wouldn't have made it at 16, it would have, been a nice backup plan. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So over that summer, I mean, your goal is really to make Portland the following season, right?
Yeah. Like everything went into that. Brought my car down and whole life down, and that was the goal, and went all in on that approach for sure.
Did you train there that summer? Like, did you go down early to?
They used to host rookie camp in Cranbrook.
Okay.
The Portland Winterhawks did that for years. Kimberley.
Okay.
In Kimberley.
Just
And,
kind of everyone meeting at a central
exactly.
location.
Yeah,
now.
and then so we did that, and then Colton Sevier, who was our first round pick of our draft, we drove down from Cranbrook or Kimberley to Portland for the main camp.
Cool.
With all the big guys and stuff.
Nice.
So, yep.
Nice.
A lot of growing up right away.
Yeah.
Being a kid and you're having to move to a country, you're getting beers thrown.
Honestly, yeah.
Like, did you even have time to reflect on that, or maybe now have you had time to reflect as an adult and be like, holy cow, I had to grow up pretty fast.
Yeah, it forces you to. And like your bonds with those younger, like the 16-year-olds, is really strong. And I remember I said by my parents in Tri-Cities always had like a preseason tournament, so they stayed around for about 10 days. It was to the Everett had a tournament, Tri-Cities had a tournament, then it goes into the regular season. And I didn't even have a cell phone. My mom just gave me her cell phone. She's like, "You need a phone. Here's the phone."
Yeah.
So I never even had one until she just gave me her phone.
Right.
So the old flip or whatever it was back
Motorola?
then. Yeah.
What were roaming charges back then?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
It's a whole different. Yeah, like now they have all the plans, but back
Yeah.
then, like communication was
wild.
still pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know how any of that went.
Yeah, expensive.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remembered, when I was down south school, like it was just weird. The times are way different. Like
Yeah, for sure.
didn't have iMessage or anything.
Oh yeah,
like
there was
that.
a point where you'd send an international text back to Canada, and it was like 50 cents a text. Can you imagine like if that was the case?
144 character limit too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Send that bill to Jerry.
Yeah. Jerry, can you cover this one?
So how was main camp? Was that a pretty? I mean, I guess this would be your first.
Yeah, I was 16 at that time.
Yeah, had you gone to camp the year?
I
before?
did the year before.
Yeah,
because they took Colton and I, like the two higher picks.
yeah,
So yeah, it was crazy. Like, and they always had like their alumni come back. So like Braden Coburn
yeah,
came back, who was like huge. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty intimidating for sure.
Yeah.
And that old rink they got there is like old school
Yeah.
Memorial Coliseum.
Yeah.
Like awesome. It was just the whole thing was definitely intimidating at the time.
yeah.
To get thrown, and the hockey was different though. Like there's
Fights in camp.
Yeah, scraps all the time. Like teammates are fighting teammates. It was just you don't see that anymore.
Right.
But back then it was very very intimidating.
Yeah,
It's good though.
yeah. Any fights that, I mean, obviously as a goaltender, you're hopefully not getting into those
Yeah.
situations as much, but did you find yourself having to get into any
I did,
scraps?
yeah. I got once the rivalry, so it
Yeah.
was. I ended up getting suspended and fined, which the team covered. But
Yeah.
the way it worked, I was 18, so it wasn't 16 or nothing.
Yeah.
But we were in the Memorial Coliseum, our home rink. To get to your dressing room, you have to get off the bench and then leave the ice. There's no tunnel behind the bench.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're down. I think it was a good close game. We're down 2-0. I was pulled for extra attacker. The buzzer goes. Nothing's on the clock. I get off the bench to go to the tunnel, and then a classic Seattle Portland line ball breaks out. So I'm just like leaning against the boards, and the goalie, Jacob DeSears, calls me out, and so I just center ice, go fight, and whatever, a couple punches, and and then I leave. But like technically, I left the bench to fight.
Right.
But I left the bench to leave the
Right,
game.
right.
Then they got challenged, so I didn't want to back down. So it's like I got 2 games for leaving the bench to fight, and then a $500 fine or something. But I was. I wish I would have practiced fighting. Like, not that I got beat up or nothing. I just went for like a huge haymaker and missed them, and then he got on top, and I just had to block a few. So it wasn't a great goalie fight, to be honest. But glad I got one in my career though.
Totally.
Let's
Yeah,
say
it's
you did
not
it.
something you're practicing at all, right?
Yeah.
So when it happens, it's just raw adrenaline and instinct at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's a great story, though. I mean, one you'll probably remember forever, right?
Yeah, and like I don't think YouTube was really around, so there's no footage of it. So just before YouTube days.
That's too bad. No live barn or anything.
Yeah,
to catch
definitely
that one.
not.
What was it like? You go to a pretty awesome organization in all of the Canadian Hockey League, but with Mike Johnson drafting, and he's well known. The whole organization's known for developing guys. Maybe as like a young adult or teenager, 16, 17, 18. What was it like to go into that organization knowing those? I mean, you mentioned the players,
Yeah.
and then having to deal with a coaching staff and management staff that basically ran that organization, like, and still does today, like a pro team.
Yeah, so I got Mike my last couple years. I had a different Mike Williamson.
That's right, Mike Williamson,
he was early. He was my 16, 17-year-old year. And then there was just there's an ownership change that got Mike Johnson to come. So early on, I love Mike Williamson was awesome. He was like a career coach in Western League. Like he was Tri-Cities in Calgary. He won the league in Calgary. He was amazing. I loved him back in my first couple years. And then Mike took over when the ownership changed when I was 19. And yeah, it was nothing against the other Mike, but it was just run differently. And that was ownership changed.
Yeah.
Also helped that too. Just there's a little bit deeper pockets, and they could do different stuff for the players. So no, Mike is a great hockey mind, good talent for eye on talent, and he can identify players, and he was very good at finding American players that helped helped that team. So yeah, he built it up. They played the Oil Kings, it was 3 years in a row in the league finals. And junior hockey's so funny. Like the Oil Kings won it in 2022, and Portland made it to the finals in 2024. So it's like it's just very
cyclical.
And it's but some teams can't do it, right?
Right.
Some teams can't get back there. But
Right.
Portland, they've done a good job.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're losing players so quickly
Yeah.
that you're having to kind of start from scratch in a lot of ways each year. So
Yeah.
when you see teams that find the formula to do that, it's extra impressive. You can't keep a guy for 8 years like you can in pro, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
there's
pretty
certain
cool.
teams have done like Seattle's done a good job. They won in, I think it was like 2016 maybe.
Yeah.
Then they just won in the last couple of years again.
Yeah.
So it's like there's certain teams that, and you just look at results, right? It's nobody's opinion. That's just them being able to do it.
Totally. Now, did you have a full-time goalie coach during these years? Was that a thing yet?
Not full time. It was the guy out of California. He'd come up
Okay.
like every month. So
Yeah.
he was good. I ended up going there in July.
Yeah.
For a few weeks at a time. So, as a 17, 18, 19-year-old in Southern California, it was pretty cool life
Pretty
experience,
nice.
but it was not a bad spot to be.
Totally.
And it was like as much fun as there can be outside of hockey down there. Hockey was the main purpose. So it was, a couple hours on the ice, a couple hours in the gym, and then get to the beach or whatever else you want to do, right? So
Totally.
yeah.
Was he based out of like the LA area? Or?
Yeah, he was in Costa Mesa.
Okay.
Like literally Huntington Beach. Like it was like unbelievable.
Right there.
Yeah, it was like my mom's like, no wonder you're going down there in July, right? So
No
it
kidding.
was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Now, had you met him, because you mentioned him earlier, had you met him before playing in Portland, or did you meet him through Portland?
That was through the
That was
Winterhawks.
through the
Yeah,
Winterhawks.
yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't. I got to know him through the team, and and kind of stayed with him for my Portland years, and then after that, no more. But it was good during. It was really good.
Now, you mentioned John Stevenson. You've got numerous coaches, obviously, throughout your minor hockey career, now into junior. How did you kind of process, taking what one coach says, which might contradict what another coach says? And I know, it seems like the goaltending position has gotten so much more technical, which makes sense. You're playing the odds. You got to be in these very specific spots. But on the player side, too, I mean, you have some coaches like myself that see it differently than the next guy. And as more voices get into the mix, what was kind of your strategy to, take what worked from John and take what worked from the guy from California and find your unique recipe?
Yeah, I think the best athletes can do that.
Yeah.
They can take bits and pieces, and I think I was able to do that fairly well. Like John was John more kind of evolved as a coach himself. Like he was heavy on ice, then he got into the mental side, which he's still kind of doing now. So, and I was like right in the middle of his own transition personally. Right. So it was kind of good. Like he helped me on, I would say, technical stuff early on, and then more on the mental side of the game as I got older and as he transitioned a bit. And then I don't know, I was pretty open to coaching. Like if somebody's willing to get on the ice with me, I just want to learn and take some stuff, and I might not always agree with it, but I'm not gonna. I remember there was one goalie coach. I was like 19 or so, and I didn't like what he was having me do, but I wasn't gonna be confrontational about it, and I may not implement it a whole lot, but I didn't see him every week either. It's like if it was somebody like that, I would probably have to sit down, have a discussion, and get on the same page, right? Right. So I think you have to be able to just pick and choose. And if you don't agree with somebody, have a conversation about it.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and I think it's usually the kids that are a little bit younger that have not kind of learned how to navigate that yet. I mean, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but when you're now coaching younger players, I think we've all seen that situation happen once or twice where a kid will say, well, Coach Joey told me to do it the other way. What is your kind of strategy when you inevitably a couple times a year at least sort of have a kid come up to you and say, I've been told something different than what you're telling me now?
Yeah, I just encourage the kids just to try it.
Yeah,
just try it out. Like we're both here, let's try it. And if you don't like, I'm the type of coach where I'm not gonna force you to do anything, and I try not to blanket coach everybody. I don't think that works well either, especially in the goalie position. I'm not trying to create a robot here, right? So I would just encourage anybody to try something, and you might take 2% of what I'm saying, and that might help you though, right? So
Yeah.
But I think if everybody comes in just open-minded, really.
Yeah.
And me as a coach too, I'm not going to force you to do something you don't want. There's a good example right now with one of our junior goalies that I had to alter my way of doing something in this certain situation, and I don't agree with it entirely, but I do for him because he plays it really well. But I'm not going to go teach that to the next goalie.
Gotcha.
So it is as long as you can do it as a coach and be adaptable, then I'm going to get the most out of him and others too, right? So.
Well, and then maybe you have a slightly different opinion of that thing. It's not necessarily something that all of a sudden you're going to maybe, like you said, use with everybody. But maybe you learn another couple pieces about something.
Well,
that you
I've
did
learned
before,
through
right?
this example 100%. Like
Yeah.
I was like, and it's just a little goalie thing in the overlap, but I'm like, it made me look at it from a different lens, and
Right.
now I am using it on other goalies a little bit.
Right.
So and who knows, maybe in 2 years from now that I'll be doing that entirely as the
sure.
game changes a bit, right? So
Totally.
I as a coach, I don't ever want to stop evolving and getting better, just like I did as a player. So
Yeah.
this is ongoing right now for me.
Yeah.
But it's been cool to kind of learn a different way of accomplishing the same thing with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So we see, obviously, you get one pro game with the Idaho Steelheads, Boise, I believe they're out of, right? When did that happen in the 2008-2009 season?
That was after my Winterhawks season. It was like they
Okay.
were in an emergency because I was only 19, and I don't think you're really supposed to do it. They had to get
Yeah.
like approval.
Yeah.
But like it was wild. I was at home
Yeah.
in Sherwood Park off season, get a call from, I think it was Derek Laxdall.
Is this
who
still on the
eventually
landline?
coached at the Oil Kings. What's
They're
that?
still calling the landline?
Yeah. I think
Probably
I
not
got
now,
a
eh?
cell phone, Motorola Razor.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, so I get a call, and he's like, explain who he was. He's like, I need a goalie for a game tomorrow. Playoff. Or no, it wasn't a playoff game. No, it was near the end of their season.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got a flight from Edmonton. It was Alaska Air through Seattle and then into Idaho.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, sounds good. Like, I'll go. I'll be
Yeah.
there. And he's like, you're starting. This isn't a backup. Like, I got 2 injuries, 1 sick.
You're going.
Like, okay. So it was wild because it's like the timeline was going to get me there for like 4 o'clock, which isn't bad because game's at 7. And of course, you get a flight delay. So I'm delayed in Seattle. So this is like WWE style. Like,
Yeah.
I get to the rink at like 6:50,
Wow.
7 o'clock start, and they got like this camera crew following me, like
Oh,
the goalies.
no.
So, like I got my bag, I'm like running to the room. It's on the jumbotron for the fans,
Oh, my
and they had like some like local guy.
Yeah.
So like I didn't make the start of the game. Like I get to the bench and the play's going on. Like no warm ups. I don't even know. Threw my contacts in barely, probably.
You haven't met anybody on the team?
First pro game. I don't
Yeah.
know anybody on here. I don't even know the coach. I did talk to him one time the day before. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
so I think it was like 3 minutes till the first whistle. And then
Yeah.
like, I don't even know who this guy was. Like, I think he was like just a local dude.
Yeah.
Like had hockey gear
Oh,
or goalie
man.
gear. So he played like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I jumped in like no warm ups, and they're like,
Wow.
can we get this guy some shots? And the rest was like, no, like let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
It was crazy. So I think it was like a 3-2 loss or something. It might have been an overtime or something too. But yeah, it was a wild first kind of pro experience
No
for sure.
kidding. And
Yeah.
were you out of there like the next morning, or did you get to kind of hang
I-
around for a bit?
Yeah, I think I hung around for a bit. They were able to get another pro, like a regular pro guy up. So I think I watched another game or backed up, and then went back home. So it was a really unique situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, It
totally.
was kind of fun though.
Did you happen to know anybody on the team? Anybody that you'd played with previously?
No, I went back a year later.
Yeah.
We can get to that later. But
Yeah.
I knew a couple guys then, but
Yeah.
not this first one. I was just blind.
Just literally
Yeah.
going in blind
Yeah.
right off the flight.
Yeah, I was
oh,
like
man.
running down there. There's a camera crew. I'm like, what is a camera crew for? I gotta get ready here. Couldn't matter.
That's when you show up for the beer league game
It was
10
like
minutes
unbelievable.
before.
It was crazy. Yeah.
That is.
What'd you
such a
get
good
paid?
story.
Or did you get paid?
Yeah, there was something. I don't have to talk to Jerry. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know on that.
That's a super cool experience, though.
Yeah.
And how did you find, like, obviously it's a unique situation getting there late and just being kind of rushed and everything, but, now you're playing with, guys that are in their 30s all of a sudden, right? Was it a big kind of change between even junior?
It was, but I was also off for like a month,
right?
Which is like you talk about rust. Like
Yeah.
I'm in off season working out. Like I hadn't even skated since the Winterhawks were done. So it was like your first program, you don't get a warm up, and you haven't skated for a month. So
Right.
the shots were definitely quicker, and that was. But Idaho was a good team. Like they kept them to the outside. I think they got a late goal or something. It was just pure rust for me, but it was good. It was. I mean, you're thrown right in there. No time to think.
For sure.
Really.
Yeah.
I was probably more stressed in Seattle, just waiting to get to the.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna miss the game entirely here.
Totally.
I guess what was the reaction from the guys when you got in there? Like how supportive were they of you? I'm guessing they were really trying to cheer you up.
Yeah, they were unbelievable. Yeah, like they knew this. I was only 19, and a lot of them were in their 20. There's like 30-year-olds in there too. So they were outstanding. I couldn't have asked for. And there's like no pressure to like you can 11 and 10. We're good. It's all like we're not asking you to steal the game. You're here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they've had a lot of competitive teams there for sure.
They had a good program.
That's pretty cool. And then you're back the following year to start the season in Portland.
Yeah.
And trade to Kamloops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe walk us through that, because I mean, obviously, like Taylor was saying, you're going through a lot in a short period of time with living away from home and being in a different country, and now all of a sudden you're going through a trade for probably the first time, right?
Yeah. No, it was I looking back, and I've said this before, like I'm glad I went through it. Like I'm glad I got to play junior hockey in Canada, which was fun. Like it was just way different than Portland. Like Portland was a beautiful city, and the fans I got were great. But it's like NBA teams there, and college basketball, college football, high school football, like you're well down the line there as a Winterhawk. So it was just different. I'm glad I got to experience junior hockey in Canada, and going through a trade was good for me as a person too, right? Like it wasn't easy to do, and I didn't love it at the time because Portland was my home. I was there 16 till my 20-year-old year, right? So I just became a bit of a numbers thing for me at that. You only allowed 3 20-year-olds, so. I loved it. I didn't know a lot of the Kamloops Blazers, and they were in a bit of turmoil. Like they hired a coach and traded for me and a 20-year-old D-man in the same day. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Kamloops at that time. And I didn't know a whole lot of the players. I just knew a couple, like the Mashmeyers are from here, and one of the D-men was on the team and stuff. So I didn't know, but it was kind of good for get out of your comfort zone and just thrown into another situation. Yeah, right. That didn't know much people.
Did you know what was coming? Like you said, there's obviously the 20-year-old rule. So it sounds like you kind of knew it was coming, but like specifically, did you know before it happened, or what was your notice of it happening?
Yeah. So Portland was on a BC swing, and I was healthy scratched for a couple games as a 20-year-old, and I was only the third. Like we only had 3, so they didn't need scratching. But they brought in another goalie from the NAHL too.
Right.
So I knew it was coming. Jerry was my guy. He's like, just hang tight. Like it'll just a few days and we'll get it sorted out. So we got home from the trip, and Sunday was a day off, and I just got the text like, come down to the rink, and at that point on a day off you're asked the GM to go to the rink. You kind of know what's coming, right?
Totally.
So yeah, it was good. It was good. Like I had some resentment towards MJ because of it, because I just didn't want to get traded. Like I love Portland, and we timed it, like my timing of junior hockey wasn't great. Like we were going through the bottom cycle, so we had some tough teams, not a lot of wins there, and they were starting to come around with, like, that team had Gio Hansen, Niederreiter on it, so Ty Ratty and a bunch of good young guys. So I wasn't thrilled to go, but I'm glad as a person, glad to go through that too.
Yeah. Totally. And I had this noted, just your billet situation in Portland. That's obviously a big step for a lot of young hockey players, going from living at home for so many years to then being with billets. And you were there for a lot of years. Were you with the same billet family for all those years?
Yeah, same lady. Yeah, she was outstanding. Sue Howe was her name. She's getting older now. I think she's in her 70s, but she was unbelievable. She came to our wedding and stuff. Like, it was more than a billet, right? So she was, the whole time she was just a single older lady that kind of her kids were out of the house too, off to college, and she took a couple. I always had a roommate too, so that was good. But no, Sue was outstanding. She made it easier for me and my mom mainly, moving away and stuff. Yeah. But no, she was good. It was still talk to her, send her flowers on her birthday.
Nice.
Every year,
Nice.
So she's a great lady.
Yeah, that makes the transition a heck of a lot easier if you have got a good situation that you're
she only did high school kids too, but I was able to stay there after I was done high school, so it was nice. She was she was really good.
That's great.
Yeah. What was it like going to high school in another country?
Crazy too. Yeah, crazy. Like it's
definitely not Sherwood Park.
No, like it's like, it was different. There was like high school football is crazy, and they weren't even good. Like when I went, like they're in the grand schemes of high school football, like they weren't good. But it's like doesn't matter. They were like the cheerleaders wearing their uniforms on the game days, and the football guys got their jerseys, and like I'm playing in front of 12,000 people at the Rose Garden, and I don't even know who I am. Like this is backwards. If I was in Canada, it'd be way different.
Totally,
right? So,
totally.
But no, it was cool. So it didn't get a ton of friends from the school just because you're so busy and travel so much. But there's a few of the guys that would kind of get to know you and stuff. And
did all the hockey guys go to the same school?
We had 2 schools at the time.
Okay,
I think they're down to just one now. You're in the same side of town. But they're you're in class with your buddies too. And I think it's a little bit different now too. Like a lot of the schooling's gone online.
Right.
Unless you're from that province, because there's different, or state, right? But I think it might be a little bit different now. But it was good. It was just part of the process of just, again, walking into a room where you don't know anybody and just getting by, right?
Yeah, totally. And did you really enjoy also just kind of being in a different part? Like obviously you're closer to the ocean, which is very different from what we normally have here.
Yeah.
Like just being in a not only a different country but kind of a different just area in general. Did you find that pretty exciting and cool?
Yeah, I loved it. Portland was so nice. Like after the season, I would always try and stay a couple weeks because it starts to get nice, like good weather and stuff. Because it can be rainy, kind of like Vancouver would be.
For sure.
But we would spend some time just doing different stuff. I got a girlfriend when I was 18 down there too, who's now my wife. So it was nice to just kind of tour around and check out Oregon and with just a little bit more freedom and time to do so, and not just stuck to the hockey schedule. So I love Portland. My family's there right now, so they went back to visit one of the grandmas down there. So it's I don't get back there as much as I'd like to, but it's an awesome spot. There's so much cool stuff to do, and there's golfing and good restaurants and breweries and the ocean, like you said, is an hour and a bit away. And there's the Pacific Northwest is, if you haven't been, it's a pretty cool spot.
And would you drive down there typically at the start and end of the season, like just to get your car and stuff down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get the full tour of everything.
Yeah. There's a couple of ways. You like going through Idaho, Sandpoint.
Yeah.
Through Spokane. That way it was a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
And then all the alternatives through the Rocky Mountains. So that's also a nice drive. It was
2 scenic routes.
Pretty. I think I would go out down one way and back the other, kind of just to switch it up.
See both.
Yeah. But it's a cool spot.
So as your junior career is starting to wind up, what's kind of your plan? What conversations are you having with, Idaho or other pro teams? Maybe walk us through kind of, as you're getting to the end of junior and, how you're feeling. Because, it had been a lot of years that you were there and sounds like some pretty good years.
Yeah.
Is there any emotion there of just, being excited to take the next step, but also, knowing you're going to probably miss what you've become accustomed to for the last few years?
I'll back up a little bit. Like I was, when I was 18, I went to the Phoenix Coyotes at the time, their training camp. So I was able to get a little bit of the pro camp there, which was really cool. And then the next year I went to the Oilers. Yeah. In 2009, going into my 20-year-old season, and I was in a unique spot. Like they didn't have a ton of goalie depth. Like Dubnyk was up and down, NHL, AHL. Like he was just trying to find his way into the NHL. And I was at the camp. I did really well. I stayed. It was like there's only 4 goalies left. It was like Doobie. I think it was like
Delorier.
He was Jeff was one.
Nope.
They have a Russian They have a Russian goalie?
It wasn't Brizgalov.
No,
back
a little
then.
bit before that.
Not Happy Bulin.
Yes, it was
Happy-
Happy.
Wow.
And there's some other like veteran guy,
Yeah.
and then it was like me. It was like 4 of us or 5 of us, right? And I was offered like an AHL, like an AHL deal, and the money wasn't great, and I still had a year of junior left, so I was like, do I get my scholarship package? And since then, the rules have changed. They're a lot more player friendly now.
Right.
So anyways, I would like to go back to junior, and never end up really getting another opportunity. So that was a little unfortunate, but I don't have any regrets in that path. And then as junior winded down, it was tough. Just the uncertainty, like from Timbits hockey all the way up. There's a plan, and you just follow it, and you make junior, and then you stay there. And then after junior, if you don't, I wasn't going to go pro. It's like, what are you gonna do? And like as that season's winding down, it was just the uncertainty part is what do we I don't know, I'm not sure, I've never been in this situation,
Foreign territory.
So my goalie coach in Kamloops, Dan De Palma, he was more of a full-time guy. He was there, he lived there, so that was like I'd see him a couple times a week. He was unbelievable, man. It's like top notch. He's still a goalie coach there, and he's done some Hockey Canada stuff, World Juniors and whatnot, but he knew a guy at the U of A for the Golden Bears, and I'm like, well, if I have to go to school, I've lived away from home for so long, I'd like to go back, and I had a good program and a good team, so it was a no-brainer. So he helped me kind of get my foot in the door with Eric Thurston there, and that's kind of how that part got kind of kick-started off.
That's like you said, it's a big transition, but kind of exciting at the same time as well to have some different places that you can now go and play and coming home, because you'd been gone for quite a while. We had that noted actually before we started. So at that point, if you were playing for the Golden Bears or a team in that league, if you could play pro for, was it half a season?
Yeah, up
and
until
still
Christmas.
come back?
Yeah, and not redshirt.
Right.
Or lose your money, your scholarship package,
So if you went over that by a day or a game,
you'd have to redshirt, and you might miss out on like 1 year of your scholarship, essentially.
So you didn't lose your whole scholarship, but you'd lose a year?
Yeah. Now it's a lot better. They give you more time now. The redshirting rule still happens, but I guess now that the U Sport just also took that out, so they've made it a lot more player friendly. And I mean, you play in the Western League, you help them out in a way, and I think they're just kind of honoring their commitment a little bit longer and a little bit better for the players now.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you want to let guys, if they have an opportunity, because like you said, those opportunities can be so fleeting.
Yeah.
Like, why not let them explore it?
Totally.
Logistically, it's obviously a little bit more difficult to have guys come and go and try to get your lineup set, but at the same time, you want to encourage them to get to the highest level if they have a chance.
And for me, I probably could have tried like the East Coast or something, but like we talked about earlier, there's only 2 spots for goalies. So if I wouldn't have took the U of A, somebody else would have. And me coming back at Christmas, that probably wouldn't happen. But as a forward or D, it does happen, right? So as a goalie, I just kind of had to commit to it, and I was fine with it. I was at peace. It helps. It was a good program at home, good school, and all that, right?
Did you go to Bears games as a kid?
I think a little bit, yeah. I don't remember going all the time, but I do remember going to a couple of them for sure.
And obviously, it sounded like personally you were motivated to come home. They got a good program, but at this point, are you still leaning on sort of your parents as well as your agent to kind of help you, make these decisions?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And then once the decision was like, that's where I want to go, it was more just, I just have to go. Like Dan helped me a little bit, right? But I was 20 at the time, so it's, be an adult a little bit too and go do it. But just guidance for sure, and weighing out some cons and stuff, and what you want to look for getting, right?
Any friends on that team that were part of the equation?
Yeah, we had a lot. Jesse Craig played the team brick with me. So he was going there. Drew Nickel. There's like we had like a 9-player recruiting class into U of A. There's a lot, and then like some really good players that I played against in the Western League, like 100-point guys that didn't get anything pro. Also wanted to go there, so it was like, no brainer to go there.
Nice. And you had 3 games with the Stockton Thunder. So was that at the end of your 20-year-old junior year?
Yeah, correct. So I went. It was like a 10-day ATO. So it was cool. Like we went to Alaska.
Oh, nice.
Got to go Aces, I think it was.
Yeah.
Got to play them up there, and went to Bakersfield as well with them, and then after that, a similar situation with Idaho than the previous year. Remember Richard Bachman?
Yep.
He was World Junior goalie. He was on Idaho that year, and they had I believe they had an injury again, like their backup. He was still there, so I joined Idaho for, oh God, it would have been at least a month in their playoff run.
Oh, wow.
Just I didn't play a game, just backed up, and
Yeah.
it was some home games. We went to we played Cincinnati Cyclones in the final.
Yeah.
And that was Laxdal again, so it's,
Right.
This World Works is who you know a little
Totally.
bit. So he brought me back in the next year, and we lost in the league finals of the Kelly Cup. I think it was like 6 games, but it was kind of cool just to be around and kind of ate up some of my off season there too. So.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so with Stockton, were you there for the 3, and then the season ended? Were there some games that you got in and some games that you were backing up, or was that trip with them a little longer than 3 games? Like, how long were you with Stockton for?
Yeah, it was like a 10-day tryout. So
Oh, okay.
that's all it was like.
Gotcha.
Back that was just like your agreement. So I was there for
Sure.
just 10 days and got in a couple games, and then I went back home, just get ready for the U of A basically, and then Laxdal called, and it's like, hey, I need you in Idaho, hurry up. So okay, so go do that all over again. So yeah.
Now,
kind of interesting. I think we played Stockton in the playoffs, actually. I think we beat
nice.
which it wasn't like that much further after I was in Stockton. It was
Right.
kind of funny.
So you're already committed to the U of A for the following year,
Yeah.
but you're getting, kind of this extra dose of pro hockey. Did you ever have sort of, second thoughts by now all of a sudden, playing these games with Stockton, being with Idaho for a while, you're kind of getting that exposure right when you're having to make a different commitment.
Yeah, I don't think I really had second thoughts. I was just happy to get, U of A to give me the opportunity.
Sure.
Because it was sought after by other goalies.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of happy to get in. And I was already like registering classes.
Yeah.
My mind already kind of went that way.
Right.
And whatnot, and made that commitment too. So I didn't want to waver on it after I told the Golden Bears that. So, but it was cool though. It was nice to get more pro touches, and
For sure.
the goal was still to go there after U of A, right?
Right. Yeah. Now, this might be slightly premature, but, now you've worked with a bunch of different coaches. You've seen a lot of different, areas of hockey and played in them. When did now you're a coach, when did you start maybe feeling the urge to want to be a coach? Was it only when you finished playing, or did it start to kind of percolate a little bit during your playing days?
Yeah, like I always did some of the goalie camps for local companies during my junior careers and stuff, and my juniors and U of A years. So I did a little bit of the coaching, but it was never really on the table as a career for me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I didn't have any interest in it. I was just in play mode. Like I wasn't
still a player.
Yeah, like I wasn't like I'm
You're not
looking
thinking about
for to get out of playing yet.
Yeah.
So and then I don't know if I want to talk about now or later how I became a coach or the opportunity, but that was after my last year at the U of A. So yeah.
I think we can go into it right now. It's fresh. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So like my last year, Golden Bears 2014-15, we won that national championship, so it was good. And then I was gonna sign in Poland because my grandpa was from there. I did the passport thing, and eventually get EU status or whatever. So you're not import for a goalie,
Right.
So I was finding it tough to get to any better league as a goalie,
Right.
and an import with no pro experience other than just a couple games.
Right.
And then I was at the Golden Bear golf alumni tournament in June at Highlands, and Dustin Schwartz was there, and he just took over the Oilers goalie coach job that November.
Right.
And he was also teacher of Vimy and all this stuff, right? So he's like, would you, probably a few beers each of us. He's like, would you want to get into coaching? And I'm like, well, I've never really thought about that, but I was like, going to Poland wasn't overly appealing. It was just kind of like, this is what I'm going to do because I don't know what else I want to do for
Yeah, it's a job.
job,
You're
yeah.
good at it.
Yeah. And
This
my
is what I
wife had a
got.
good job at Enbridge at the time,
Yeah.
and we'd be giving up all that
Yeah.
to go chase not a whole lot. It's not like you're in Switzerland or something.
Right.
No, nothing against Poland.
Yeah.
It's just like
Different league.
probably, and yeah, exactly. So I told him I never really thought about it, but I just said yeah, and he kind of like, I think he was all. It was just right place, right time. Dustin was
Yeah.
looking for somebody to replace everything that he did before he made the NHL as a
Right.
coach. So like, there's coaching, consulting in the Edmonton region, the Vimy job, the Oil Kings, Spruce Grove Saints at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just almost too good to pass up for me
Yeah.
to say no. And then like, it was almost like, I'll believe it if I see it. And then he just kept the ball rolling, and he's like, yeah, I got you the Oil King job. Randy
Right.
Hansch, our GM, he knows you.
Yep.
He wants to give you a spot. And I was going to mentor under him. It wasn't just like, here you go,
Right.
go figure it out. Like
Yeah.
it was a few years of him kind of helping me on everything, the
Yeah.
coaching, the business side, the
Yeah.
connections and all that. And so that's kind of how it all happened. And I couldn't be happier that I took it.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get into coaching, and the teams and the programs that I was kind of gifted are flagship ones in the hockey community and the business too. So I've been with them for 10 years now, and it's I'm super thankful for Dustin for trusting me in the opportunity, and yeah, that's kind of how it all happened, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you know Schwartzy before? Obviously, to some extent,
Little
you
bit.
must have.
Yeah, like he was Golden Bear alumni too.
Yeah.
We're 10 years exactly,
Yeah.
birth year apart. So, and then like he was doing his coaching with Lyle Mast, and Lyle was the U of A's goalie coach my first year, and so I did two goalie camps with Lyle and Dustin. So Dustin coached me for, I don't know, probably only like 10 sessions or something, but I loved it. Like the way they did it, it was different. It was new to me.
Yeah.
I never seen that. The how he did it and the delivery and the all the head trajectory stuff that they were talking about was, and like I honestly I wish I was exposed to that earlier. I feel like it would have helped my career out so much more if I would have seen that, in the Western League, right?
Right.
So it did help me out in my U of A days for sure. And then we had good teams too.
For sure.
Wasn't tasked with a whole lot of difficult situations all the time, but yeah, it was interesting how that all came about.
Yeah, totally. Did you say head trajectory?
Yeah,
It's
Can you
called OR.
yeah. So Lyle's company was OR Sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So head trajectory, and this is I'll explain this, and you're gonna be like, seems so obvious, but like as a goalie, you're like, a lot of goalies line up like their chin is up a bit, just like looking here. But the problem with that is the puck's not shot from a cannon 5 feet off the ice.
Sure.
It's on the ice,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So it's just like getting your eyes on the puck and not up here. Because if I go to track a puck, and my chin's up, I go to low blocker, I got to come down to it and then make the save. But if I'm here, I'm already there.
Right.
So his thing was like, there's no delays in your tracking.
Right.
Which it makes sense, but it's like,
Yeah.
go watch a goalie. NHL goalies, don't go watch them because they're probably doing this.
Yeah.
But go
Yeah.
watch a U15 game,
Right.
and you'll see their goalie, their stance. Like a lot of them will be up. Their
Right.
chin is up a little bit.
Interesting.
So it's just like, it was new for that time.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, there's some the league goalies are probably doing this already, but it wasn't getting to everybody.
Right.
And Lyle was kind of like Lyle and Dustin, I would say,
Yeah.
were like the two guys behind it.
And isn't
pioneers.
is it tracking, like you're tracking the puck with your whole head too
Yeah.
as well, not just your eyes?
Yeah, it's like, and like as soon as you turn, like everything else is going to turn too. So you're skating. A lot of like, even nowadays, like everybody's like, well, your tracking is just for the shots and making saves, which yes, it is, but it's like so much more than that. Like it helps with your skating and your movements and getting to position easier, more efficiently, right?
Right.
So he wanted in the center of your vision.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then like Lyle broke it down to like the actual science of your eyeball. And it's like, if I'm looking here and the puck's in the ice, my eyeball is in the bottom of my eye.
Yeah.
As soon as I do this, my eyeball is in the middle of my eye, and I'm it's cleaner seeing and vision that way.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of history to it. I'm just giving the Cole's notes of it all.
It's super interesting because, I mean, with the players, like a lot of the young kids will bury their head to look at the puck while they're stick handling it. It's because it gives, in my opinion, it's giving the brain more information. It makes it easier.
Yeah.
But then we're trying to work the other way where they can keep their main focus on what's going on, see people coming at them, see teammates that are open, and get used to handling it with just the peripheral.
Yeah.
But the handling is kind of the second priority. Everything else going on is the first. But as a goalie, like that puck is the number one priority. You don't necessarily want to be using your peripheral vision to track the puck.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it was good. And even just like the head trajectory is one thing, but I think it just helped tracking become more prominent too.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it just helps so much. It's just you need to be able to somehow bottle that up and sell it to the kids because it's hard to do. It's like it's a choice to track pucks
For sure.
but it's hard. It's a hard choice because it's like the pucks are so quick and the plays are so fast. Right?
Totally.
I guess what resources as a coach do you go to for your education? I guess now.
Yeah, it's like peer to peer really. Like I've jumped on there's like a free coaches site or something.
Like Hockey Canada has a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
don't
Hockey
they?
Canada has a bunch of stuff.
Is the Hockey Canada stuff good? Just because in my experience with like the PGF Canada, like the coaching site's kind of basic.
Yeah.
You have to go external to like
for other stuff.
someone just has like their own certification or their own whatever.
Yeah, like I think Hockey Canada is good for the basic stuff. Like it'll I think it assumes you have zero goalie knowledge and it's going to give you a good base and foundation. And that's fine for a lot of levels, but then when you want like when you're working with NHL prospects and stuff, that's a lot more advanced. And I think it's just surround yourself with good people in the industry, right? So like there's a lot of the WHL goalie coaches that I was talking to Saskatoon's guy last night while they're playing their game, and Harv and I were just talking about different stuff. I was screenshotting a video to him and he'd watch it and we just bounce ideas, and we do that. I don't do that with everybody around the league. I just don't know everybody, but there's a few that will run ideas by and helps both of us out too.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's just networking.
Just helping
too.
everyone. That's a big part of your life. It seems is networking. Like just the golf tournament thing. Like it's cool that you had that golf background that led you to that position, right? So playing multiple sports can lead to crazier things in life than you think.
My like downfall as a coach, and maybe just for advancement is I don't network enough. I just like what's in front of me. I'm gonna do the absolute best I can, and if that's 12-year-old in Vimy Ridge or my Oil King goalie or whoever, I'll go all into that, and I don't really do a whole lot of networking. And I know I should. I'm not introverted, but I just kind of mind my own business and do my thing, and whoever's in front of me on the estimate, I'm going to do that. And I probably should network more. It's probably cost me some sort of opportunities in other maybe jobs professionally, but I'm also happy where I'm at, and I just like doing what I do. So if I stay here the rest of my life, that's cool by me.
Yeah. Totally.
And you're in a good pipeline too now with, pardon the pun, I guess, with the Oil Kings, and then obviously the Oilers. You're in the same building with them, and so they, and with the relationship with Dustin, like they know what you're up to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I've gone down the road of some pro interviews and stuff over the years, and having a goalie like Sebastian has helped kickstart a lot of that too. So, but we'll see where it all goes.
For that hockey parent or that kid at home that maybe doesn't have the resources to get a goalie coach, doesn't have one, like where would you kind of steer them to, like learn more about the position?
Yeah, like there's to learn. Like I mean, there's companies out there that offer some cheaper stuff for beginners too. So I would start by reaching out to the goalie guys, and not just me. There's other good goalie coaches in the city here too. And then there's like some online programs too that you can find. The Hockey Alberta stuff, Hockey Canada stuff is good. Hockey Alberta does their own goalie camps every spring in the next month or two, and they're a lot more affordable. We're talking a couple $100 as opposed to a lot more than that for some other camps. And I go to those. It's like a bunch of other goalie coaches across the whole province. We're not making a bunch of money doing it, but it's our way to kind of give back, and we'll be on the ice with U11 goalies and up to U17, U18. But there's it's a fun weekend. It's a bit of a little bit of networking, a little bit too, even though we know everybody. But I would recommend those because it's what you're going to spend and the quality coaches you're going to get. It's hard to replace that or find something better than that.
It's probably nice for the goalies to meet other goalies because there's not. There's only 2 on a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like the camps that I run. I've always took in a lot of pride in the goalies are going to work together, and it's not just you only. Like you're going to watch him in the net, and you're going to get better because you're watching what he does well or doesn't do well, right? So I think there's a social aspect in a lot of this stuff for the goalies too. It
seems like over the years in goalie development, I've kind of read this a lot. There's a lot more emphasis on, you talked about seeing the game and like that anticipation as a goaltender, but now it seems like there's a lot of emphasis on thinking the game in terms of, where the shot's coming from. Is it this guy, it's a left-handed guy coming down the left wing side, so he really can only put it, to one side and that sort of thing. And, Sean mentioned too, playing the odds. Seems like there's a lot more emphasis on goaltenders to start thinking the game.
Yeah, 100%, especially at the higher levels too. And I do think, like you talked about, like, is he a one-timer threat, or is he lefty or righty, or those super important. I think it's like, what I'm noticing is that's almost getting in some of these younger kids' heads though, like that the U15 level, even in U17, U18, it's like, well, I know he's a one-timer here, so I'm gonna play deeper here, but then I get beat on this shot here, where it's like that pass is never gonna happen. You got two guys in the lane, and if he does, he's not gonna get a clean shot off.
Right.
But they're like almost overthinking it, because they're being taught, like what you just said, is like we gotta. So it's like, I think it has to be a little bit level dependent, and those, like, as you climb, those are what we're talking about, is a lot more important.
Right.
But at the younger age, it's good for them to know where everybody is, but it's like, I still need you to save that shot if he shoots it.
Right.
So your coach would be pissed if you don't.
Yeah.
So you're right though. That's the way the goaltending has gone. It's more read based, and you got to know where everybody is, because the players are so good these days, and they can make incredible passes through sticks and lanes, and you still have to be able to get there, right? So. It is a little bit level dependent for sure.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's kind of the way it's. And as you get to certain levels, everybody can T-push well and shuffle and recover and slide. Like it's the reads you're talking about that are going to separate two guys.
Right. Yeah, just being able to kind of anticipate, like like a chess player, what the next move might be, right? And what the odds of it are.
Yeah. And a lot of that's coming through pre-scouts now.
Right.
Especially at the junior level. Even the U18s and stuff. It's like.
So much video.
The trigger
now.
guys here, on the power play, we gotta get to that, right? Or the team's gonna be like, we're gonna give them this downhill shot because we're taking away OV on this side, right? Like we're gonna give you something, so be ready for it, right?
Yeah. Do you miss the old school hockey days? Because I see the odd vintage game on TV, and we've talked about it before. Like, just, I mean, there was no structure. It was just you were athletic, and you did whatever you could to get your body in front of the puck.
Yeah.
And like, it's just such a difference to watch a game from the 80s versus goalies now. And I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong, but it's just so drastic how it stands out.
Yeah.
But I think, like you were just saying, you still need an element of that. Like, you can making all these calculations, thinking about the perfect spot, which way the guy shoots, everything going on, but there's still an element of like just raw compete and wanting to get in the way.
Yeah.
And you're going to get out of position.
Yeah.
And when you're out of position, a lot of the times, at least it seems, those are the saves where the structure goes out the window.
Yeah.
You're just finding a way.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean, I know those games you're talking about on TV, they're awesome to watch. From every, like, players, goalies, everybody, it's like, it's hilarious because it's just so out of the norm, and like these kids nowadays would have never seen that.
Yeah.
All they know is what they're in it, right? Because it's evolved to this. But yeah, like, it's, I think, I go by a general 80-20 rule of like 80% of your game needs to be structured, and 20% you have to just make a save and be a goalie. And if you're on a really, really good team, that might slide to a 90-10 rule.
Sure.
Or if you're on a team that gives up a lot, maybe that's 65-35 or whatever, right? So but no, it's, I mean, you have to have the ability to make a save.
Yeah.
You can't just be a positional guy and never make a big save, right? Like, 10 seconds left in the game and the puck hits a shin pad and right to their guy's stick. Like, you gotta find a way. Yeah. And that is, I mean, those are what makes those top tens, right? Those are the fun ones.
Yeah.
Now, within all that structure, how do you teach that raw, just whatever it takes to get in the way?
Yeah, like, I think there's two ways. I think some people or some athletes is innate. They have it.
Yeah.
They just have that. Like, I hate getting scored on for a goalie. Like, I just hate it. In the sessions that I run or the camps that I run, it's like we'll dedicate a chunk of it, not a ton, but probably 20% of it, to unstructured situations where it's like, there's going to be some goals here, guys. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll tell mom and dad after what we're doing and why, but it's like, there's going to be a 2-on-0, and I might be like, hey, you can only pass it one time. You can't go tic-tac-toe, right? But it's like, I'm trying to create situations that are very adverse for the goalie and see what they can do. And then they can play around with it. And then they were testing their reads too, like, okay, he can pass it. So I got to protect a shot, and then I got to also blow up over there for a slide or whatever, right? So I think a big way is to put them in those situations in practices
for sure,
and not just they get to a game like, well, they can't do it. Well, they've never been there,
right?
or just it's a normal drill, but let them play the rebounds.
Right.
So it's like, it's good for the players too. They're working on their dekes and whatever, but as the goalie, that's where they're going to get some of those reps.
Right. So, trying to put them in situations where they're going to be out of position.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't do it a ton because it'll look horrible.
Yeah. You got to be thinking
like if
about
that's your
right?
only way you're like, you don't want to just create a street hockey goalie.
Like we ever do something like take a stick away, like just to be like, you got to do something different.
Yeah, like sometimes it'll just happen too, right? But
it
like
does happen,
a lot of times it'll be like I try and take away their vision. Like we'll throw two bodies, throw a puck in their pads, and then 2-on-0 that out. Where it's like you don't know where it's going. There's two of them. Yeah. I'm not like I've said this on other Zooms too in the past. Like I'm not a huge gimmicky goalie coach like white pucks and. John used to do like the basketball jersey, like the mesh on your head, like you mesh something in your head. Like I'm not like big into that stuff. Like that's just not my style.
Yeah.
I try and make it read based and I try and make it game like, but it's just other ways to do adverse situation, like the whole medicine ball. It's not me.
Sure.
But I'm not saying there's no value in that. It's just not my style of doing it.
There's lots of different ways to.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's different coaches that have had success with other.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways.
And then maybe I should do more of it. I don't know. Like maybe like I've seen one of the goalie guys. He puts the goalie stick like behind their back, and they obviously they're not shooting their hands because they have gloves on, but they just come in and they're just focusing on like sealing the ice and keeping your edges. It's like it's different. It's weird. Yeah. Maybe it helps.
There's that swivel vision, the two with the goggles.
Yeah,
I
don't mind
off
those. I don't like it. If this is the. Oh yeah, that one where it blinks.
Blinks, or I think it just like it. I don't want to. It's almost like
narrows it down.
Yeah.
So
like
that
where
one
it limits your vision, but also like, almost if you're inebriated, I guess, trying to track the puck.
Yeah. The one is it forces you to have head trajectory. I forget what they're called, but if your head's up, you're not going to see the puck because it like cuts off your vision, so you have to look down.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very smart, and I've used those. We have those. I've used those before. I don't use them all the time, but it's like the weighted ankle weights, right? Like you walk around, then you're good when you don't have them on. It's like the same thing. Like you wear them for a bit, and then it in theory should make it good. But yeah, there's a bunch of other gadgets like that that do make it just help improve your tracking and whatnot.
So is the 2-pad stack completely off the curriculum?
That's still in my
that
repertoire.
Unfortunately, it is.
I remember learning like skate saves back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Do a skate save. Like never see that now.
Yeah, no, it's those are out. They're not doing. I have seen some goalie companies, not in Edmonton, but remember that Vasilevsky save is he puts his arm behind his back and catches it, and like there's like a drill where kids are on their belly and they're just like, I'm like, oh my god, this is a little extra. Like
he's just doing it. Yeah,
because
more flexibility and instinct than anything,
and fluke.
Yeah, there's some luck in there too.
But like then you see like I'll deke a goalie to his blocker side. And like he kind of like slides and he just does that instant. I'm like, man, that's like we can't be doing this.
Or the hassock flipping the blocker around when he's on the ground.
It's funny though. It's good dialogue out there for it.
That's kind of the equivalent of the players like trying to Michigan everything.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's just the standout thing that isn't really the way you need to play.
Yeah.
But it's a fun thing to be able to do here and there. But
100%.
If you're not careful as a coach, like they'll do it all the time.
No, but I'll tell you, like when you see a pad stack work, it's unbelievable.
Oh, it's
like everybody, like coaches, players, goalies are going crazy. It's like, 100%. But it's that same save that you probably could have just went like this and hit you. But it's the fact that he pad stacked. It's unreal.
That's so good. So just on the business side, having been able to get to know you better this year, it seems like something you're very passionate about. It sounds like obviously you're thrown in the fire quite a bit with the handoff, kind of starting with Schwartz. Obviously a great opportunity. How did you kind of navigate that from the coaching side, but also the business side? Like you had some mentors through there. You probably built your confidence, slowly in the coaching, slowly but surely in the coaching department.
Yeah.
But was, it kind of the same on the business side? Was there just kind of a slow handoff of, hey, now you got to handle the accounting, you got to handle the apparel? Like, how did that kind of work?
Yeah, so like the approach that I took, like I didn't have a website or logo for the first 4 years. Like I just, and people are like, I see a new goalie, like, what's your website? I'm like, I don't have one. They're like, it's 2018. Why don't you have a website? I'm like, I don't know. I just don't have, like, what's your company? I'm like, I don't know. It's Kurtis. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So I didn't, like, it's just been a slow growth and a slow process. And but yeah, it was like, I've always had like a business mind, like math is my favorite subject outside of obviously phys ed or whatever. But like, I liked math. I like numbers. I like problem solving. I like being organized, like booking things. So it's like all that stuff has come fairly naturally. It's just work. You just got to put in the time. You just got to. It can be tedious, and I seek out help now. But yeah, the first 4 years I was just coaching as much as I could and helping out kids and building a network in the Edmonton area. And then I had, like I said, I didn't really have a company, so to speak. Right. I had no staff or nothing like that. And then I finally got the website and social media, which I don't do enough of. And and then it's just kind of grown. And I used to always say, no to teams because I would only, if I could go, great. If I couldn't go, I wasn't going to take on work. Because I was protective of my brand a little bit. And then I have really good staff under me now. Like I got like awesome guys that are so good at it and have played at high levels, have great experience, and they're just good coaches and good people. And teams are like, just send a guy. Like we know who, like, so I just, from a business point, I just started saying yes to everybody. And just send my guys. And there's certain teams I'm like, hey, I can't come one time because I can never. I have a conflict. I can never go. And if you want to use somebody else, great. And I'm not mad. It's totally cool. Like, no, you like your guys, send your guys. So it's kind of, it's turned into something bigger than I ever thought it would, honestly. And like Dustin didn't do this much because Dustin was also a teacher. Right. So he had a good salary, good pension, benefits, all that stuff. And he's also doing Oil Kings and other stuff, right? So it's been a little bit different, but I don't know. It's not what I planned. It's just kind of morphed into that. And I'm still going through it. Like I just hired a full-time guy this August. Right. So it's just kind of just evolving continually. And as I get older and the kids get older too, I want to be around for their sports and stuff. So I just got to find the balance of all that, right? Really.
For sure.
It's cool that you're able to build it without marketing yourself. So it speaks to like your work that obviously was good enough and word of mouth spread it. So that's awesome to hear. But also, like, how do you train your coaches now? Like, how do you know they, are gonna kind of like, do you have something like some sort of system you guys sort of follow?
Yeah. To your first point, that's something I take a lot of pride on is like building up what I did without, like, I think my last social media post was December 2023, which is so bad. but I'm like, I'm just being super honest and candid. Like, I'm so busy with zero out there. My fear is if I pump it out, I'll get more interested parties, and then I have to say no. So I'm like double-edged sword, I guess. Like, you don't want to get too complacent either. But I didn't do this for the money or for the business. I did it for helping the kids. Obviously, there has to be a financial component to most things in life. But it was a balance for me to, have a career, support my family, but also give back to youth, and there was a nice synergy there. And now it'll never go away from that. If I'm only doing this for money, then I won't do it. But it has turned into a bigger business than I ever thought it would. Right. In terms of our coaches, I'll grab ice every now and then. Like I have my main guy who's been with me for the longest time, Blair Faulkner, is 10 years in. Like, I don't need to make sure he knows what he's doing. He knows he can do certain things better than I can just because that's the way he coaches, right? So, but when I bring in new guys, we'll grab ice and I just make them, or I recommend or advise that they come shadow me and just watch me just do some coaching, just so they can see me, in our environment, and they can learn that way. So, I just make sure that they're not going to be doing nothing that I don't really want. It's pretty loosely. I'm not like super strict or nothing like that. Just a general guideline and platform that we want our guys to to kind of execute out there and make sure that those are being hit for the goalies. So
when it comes working with teams, I always found this funny when I was working for Sherwood Park, you were doing some goalie stuff with us.
Yeah.
And as well as Spruce Grove.
Yeah.
And they were in a playoff series together. Yeah. Some wild times. But were there conversations beforehand with Tim and I think it was Jay at the time? Was it like, hey, listen, guys, I'll work for both of you, but I'm drawing the line here on certain things, and how do those conversations come up, and then how do you create that balance so that there isn't conflict of interest with working with multiple organizations?
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, but it was like I worked with one, and then it's like the other wanted you, so I'm like, oh, I don't want to say no. And it was 2 junior team, but it's like this is the Saints and the Crusaders. It was. And they were awesome. Like, those guys have been around for so long, so they would never put me in a bad spot. I didn't even need to tell them. Right. They just knew. And then it was only for a little. It was like a year or two, and then the ownership at Spruce Grove changed, and the Celts got it, and then I was just with the crew after that, which it was probably better, because when it came down to like recruiting goalies, both teams wanted a certain goalie. Is like what. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck in the middle of that.
Yeah. So it was more natural just to have one, but it was kind of cool to have two at the same time.
Yeah. And with Vimy, did you start there right after this initial conversation with Schwartz? Or
2 months after.
Okay, so you're right into there, and then also doing the stuff outside, starting basically at the same time.
Yeah, right? So that August, so golf term was June, Vimy was like, let's just say September 1, but that all of August, like I'm going to be a coach, and I played the position, but I'm like, I'm not worried about my knowledge on the position, but I want to watch him. So like I was on the ice all August, probably 50 hours or 50 sessions of just with him and his junior guys and pro guys and midget guys, and just watching how he did it, and just seeing if I liked it, and which I did, and I liked the style, and just kind of that's why I kind of have the guys do that for me too, and not to that extent. They don't need them doing a whole month, but just to learn a little bit, right? And then the business wasn't a lot to start. I didn't have a ton, had a few things here and there, and then you just got more and more every season essentially.
Right. Yeah. Did you find that having Vimy kind of as that backbone, like were you full time at Vimy off the hop?
Kind of like I am now. Like I would still have the Oil Kings, so I'd have a couple Oil King days, and then I'd have the Crusaders and Graham McEwen and all that stuff. So just kind of piece it together. Vimy's been outstanding to just provide the flexibility for me to do all this other stuff. Yeah, for sure. But I was still at Vimy the whole time.
Yeah, I've definitely found that just knowing that you have sort of that backbone. I mean, especially within the academy model where the kids have signed up for the whole year. It's not, the fluidness of a team that might go in a different direction in the middle of the season. Like it gives you the freedom to kind of go and explore some more of those entrepreneurial, higher risk ventures. Yeah. Which, again, there's people that have different opinions on that. Like obviously if you're all in on the business and you can put every ounce of energy into it, that's a good thing too. But sometimes there's a balance there of knowing, hey, like I've got some stability in this department. It's going to give me the freedom to, be able to explore these other things with, less anxiety at the very least. Right?
Yeah, it's like, it's nice to have an anchor. That's why I look at Vimy as like an anchor program for me. Yeah. Where it's like, I was a nobody really, because when I started, and there was 20 goalies there. And that got me into front of 20 goalies, and then that just branched out, and every year there's new ones coming and going, and it is nice to, from a business side, just to have a kind of a home base, so to speak, and meet coaches like yourself and a bunch of others the last 10 years too it's good to make those relationships, but also drum up new business that way. Yeah.
What are some benefits from a goaltender's perspective of being at Vimy and those types of academies? Getting on the ice more frequent, all those things. Something that maybe obviously you didn't do when you were younger, but we've talked in length about the benefits and maybe cons to these programs. But from a goalie perspective, what are the pros to being in that type of schooling and sports performance at a young age?
Yeah, I think the consistency for the goalie sessions are really nice. It's hard to find. Like even the teams that go to a night is mainly twice a month. So Vimy, you're getting already more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just nice to get that consistency in goalie specific stuff. And then when you're not getting goalie session, you're still getting pucks. And then that now it comes down to what kind of athlete are you? Are you highly motivated and you're going to give it your all every time you step on the ice, or you're going to pick and choose, right? So I think the ones, and there's we don't need to name names, there's tons of good goalies and players that can come through the program, but it's the ones that are buying into it and recognizing that the commitment their parents are making for them to go, and they're going to make the most of it, right? So it's I just also take a look at like the schooling system, and that's like as a whole, like 8 to 4, whatever the hours exactly are. You're at a desk, and not every school gets phys ed every day. It's like every other day, some schools.
Totally.
Whereas these sports academies like Vimy, you're getting 2 hours every day of activity, whether it is hockey or that's spin class or rock climbing or flag football outside. Like you're not in front of a teacher every hour of the day. It's just as nice as a human just to get up and moving. That's the biggest thing. Like sport fit's an unbelievable program at Vimy. Golf is unbelievable. Like there's other good ones, not just hockey too.
Yeah, the balance is really cool. Like they have thetheir focus, they have their academy focus, but at the same time they're still being that athlete, like you said, right? So I think it's a super cool setup, and it's awesome to have people like yourself there. I think we probably got to get this wrapped up. I don't know if you guys have any last minute questions for him, but if you do, throw it out
No, we
there.
probably could have done a whole show on just being at the U of A, I guess.
Yeah,
and,
no, kind of missed that section.
Yeah,
of
we
it.
skipped over 2 championships and 3 national appearances.
Yeah, we our team was good. We had some good players. My second year we had a bit of a down year, myself included. But I think we won Canada West 4 to 5 times, and then nationals the last 2. It's hard to turn it win. It took us to my 4th and 5th year, but it was fun. It was good. It was anytime you can be the best, and whether it's the Hinton U9 tournament or national championship, it's fun to be the last team standing, right? So
Totally.
it was I was in a good spot. They gave me a lot of offensive run support and some good defense in front of me too. So
What'd you take in school there?
I did I had a Bachelor of Science degree in environmental science. So I haven't used it. I probably won't, just based on my life so far. But I loved it. It was challenging and good and unique. And I think working for like an oil field company on the reclamation remediation side might have been a pathway. But thankfully that golf tournament kind of put my career in a different way. So
Totally.
You seized the opportunity. It's cool to hear.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad. Like I said, there's no, and it's like if you go back to earlier, we talked about that. I could have took that AHL job back in 2009, which likely wouldn't have let me play at the U of A and not got this. So it's, your guys' past could have, if you look back at your own history and your own little pathway to get where you are, it's every decision could lead you to something or not, right? So I'm happy with. I have no regrets, honestly. Like I played a high level hockey in the Western League and the U of A, and I still am in the game, right? So
Totally.
it's good for me.
Well, and you got a beautiful family, and those things are super important as well too, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Mooks, thanks for coming. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today, and that was awesome. And hopefully we can do another one sometime soon.
Yeah, no, thanks for including me. Appreciate it, boys.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
To help support the community, please visit our website at usports.community and follow us at usportscommunity on all social media.
You can also follow and rate our podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Audible. Subscribe and like our video feed on YouTube.
Links for all our platforms can be found in the show notes.
Best way to help grow the usports community is to comment on and share our content with your fellow parents and athletes.
This episode was produced by Nick Hussey of Hussey Multimedia, and hydration was provided by Earthwater.
The youth sports community is proudly presented by Nuance Hockey and Ma Golf.
Nuance Hockey provides detail-driven on- and off-ice development in the Edmonton area. For more information, please visit our website at nuance.hockey and follow us on social media.
Ma Golf provides elite coaching for golfers of all skill levels at the Millwoods Golf Club in Edmonton. Our apparel is provided by Burn Barley, prairie-inspired, golf-focused. To receive 15% off your next order, please visit birdandbarley.com and use our promo code YSC15.
We look forward to you joining the community next time.